Hello everyone! Welcome back to another stream of Ace Attorney Investigations The 2. Last time was another crazy stream, mostly involving the little boy on the screen right now. He was in a pissy mood all day, he was crying, he was kidnapped, he was rescued, and now he's being accused of murder. So, he's having a bad day, as he's telling us right now. And, we're gonna figure out what's going on here. I know. He was, like, practicing his lines. Nothing happened. But I don't think nothing happened. In fact, you know what I think? I think this head ate him. Anyway, we're back. Welcome everyone. Hope everyone's doing good. Nothing happened. I'm sorry, but you're lying. As kids do. Hey J-Man, what's up? Good to see ya. Welcome back to the Ace Attorney's Investigations. The model of Taurosaurus's head fell from the roof of that trailer last night. Did you expect us to believe that you knew nothing about that? I don't know what you're talking about. Is that so? I told you, I ran my lines, I went home, that was it. Hey Eliza, totally not staying because you're sick? Oh no. Get well soon, Eliza. Stop being sick. That's one of the rules in chat, do you see? No being sick. Get well soon though, for reals. Well, thank you for popping by. What do I know about some stupid falling head? Or are you saying you can prove I know something? Sadly not. It's entirely possible that the head fell after Sean left. No proof, huh? Then this conversation is over. You have an update with the math? Did you pass it? No, it's not. What? The head falling from the roof isn't the only strange thing about last night, and I'm certain you know what else I'm thinking of, too. What other unusual occurrence happened, yesterday evening? The rehearsal. Duh. This proves it beyond a doubt. Wait, how did you... that's right, your rehearsal tape. Gah. What? You have a video footage from last night? We do, and if you watch it, you'll see that it was no ordinary evening. He was, performing opera there, as you can see. That's a footprint there already. There is, and I'm not sure that's an everyday sight, even on a film set. Wasn't as bad as you thought. Your teacher and your classmates, your group helped me get through your assignment, and we got pretty far. Went to get some time to finish it too. Awesome! As long as it's done, right? That's the only thing that matters. Sean, why would you keep this from me? No reason. You're not my real mom. Liar. That stuff might work on your mommy, kid, but it's not going to work for me. Why did you hide the tape? Sean, you have to tell us. You? Look, I just didn't want anybody to see me rehearsing, okay? I don't like it. Dots. So you were embarrassed? Is that it? Yeah, what's so weird about that? That's why you didn't hand over the vital evidence? Sean, how could you? Gah! Oh, give me a break. You know about it now, don't you? Sure, the footprint was there, but I just ran my lines and went home. That was it. What? And nothing about the giant monster footprint struck you as weird? It's a giant monster footprint. On the set of a giant monster movie. It's not like there isn't all kinds of other weird stuff around here. I don't buy it for a second, Chief. There's something hinky about this kid. I'm sure as I'm standing right here. Dang Skippy there is. He's hiding a scoop under them there horns, or my name ain't Lotta Hart. Ah, shut up, both of you. I'm done talking. Hold it right there. What is it, Agent Lang? Hehehe. So it's just as I thought. Thanks, Mr. Prosecutor. This footage of yours backs up my theory nicely. What? There was something else on that tape? Yep. Look closely. See the costume up at the top left? Oh yeah, that's that Torosaurus suit. Something's different. Do you see it? How am I? I'm doing good, Eliza. I am ready for another day of streaming this game and getting farther and all ready to go. But yeah, I'm feeling good. I'm feeling happy. I'm not sure. He's just kinda hanging out and looking a little saggy. Oh, and the zipper on his back is done up tight. That's good. Thanks. I'm glad you're here. The zipper? Huh? That's... Heh. Yeah, I guess you all see it now, right? On the tape, the zipper is wide open. Why? Because somebody's inside the suit, that's why. What? Mr. Powers, that zipper, what can you tell us about it? Oh, well, we always close it up tight when the suit isn't in use. That's right, Mr. Prosecutor. And you remember something else I said not so long ago? Let me refresh your memory. What if your friend Gavel pushed the president off the big building the night before last, and then came down here to the movie set and hid the body somewhere? Here? But where? There's all kinds of stuff down here. Costumes, equipment, you could hide it anywhere. And then come back a day later, last night in other words, and take it out again. You're saying the body could have been hidden in the Torosaurus suit? That's exactly what I'm saying. Isn't that right, Gavel? You pushed the president off of the roof just like I said. Then you hid his body inside that costume. I most certainly did not. Protest all you'd like. I'm not going to believe you. You're the only person who could have done this. I thought we already proved that would have been impossible. The movie set was locked at the time. There's no way Judge Gavel would have been able to get in here. What if she had an accomplice? What? I've got a little theory for you. I think you're going to like it. Oh boy. What if Sean was waiting down here when Gavel pushed the president off of the roof? If the two of them were working together, the problem of the lock goes away. Then they worked to hide the body together too, by dragging it over to the Torosaurus suit and stuffing it inside. It's like 3 a.m., you should try to sleep but your throat's burning. Oh no. Better take the painkillers like you said there. That stinks. Being sick stinks. You think the murder was really that carefully planned? It was the assassination of a world leader. It could only have been a careful plan. Careful planned. To suggest that Sean could have been involved in this it's unthinkable. You're my prime suspect. What makes you think I'm going to listen to a word you say? But what about motive? What reason would either of them have to kill President Wang? Who knows, but we'll find out soon enough. She was the last one to meet with him, and she won't tell us why. Pretty darn suspicious, even you have to agree with that. Judge Gavel, I don't suppose I can convince you to share any more details. My apologies, but that is the one thing I cannot do. However, rest assured, should that ever change, you will be the first to know. So please, you... Have to believe me? Yeah, murderers have a habit of saying that. What about you, kid? Any weak excuses to offer? If so, now's the time to get them off your chest. Peh, I've got nothing to say to you. I'm innocent. Both as tight-lipped as each other, huh? But let me guess, you're still going to try and stick up for them? It's true. Judge Gavel's action certainly makes her seem suspicious, but nothing she has told us amounts to a motive for murder, or even the suggestion of one. No, and like I said, I'm leaving motive aside for now. For the moment, I'm focusing on means and opportunity. Hey, Hedgewolf, what's up? Are you ready for some Ace Attorneying investigations? Ling is like, very. He is. For the moment, and for my money, these two had to be working together for their little plot to succeed. So Gavel and Sean are the prime suspects now. Let's prove Lane wrong. What if Sean was waiting down here when Gavel pushed the president off the roof? You're seriously suggesting that a child could have been an accomplice in this murder? Look at him, he's still in elementary school. There's no way a kid that young would be involved in something like this. I think I mentioned that he's in junior high, right? Lingzi says, "Pity no wolf, be he cub nor grizzled elder. Doesn't matter how young he is. If he's guilty, he's guilty, and he'll be treated as such. Wow, wolf cubs have it hard, huh? I'm surprised at you, Mr. Prosecutor. You're saying he deserves mercy just because of his age? Of course not. I'm saying that there's no way he did this, and I'm going to prove it to you. Heh, I'll look forward to it. But be warned, I'm only just getting warmed up. If the two of them were working together, the problem of the lock goes away.
Hold it!
Goes away how exactly? Heh, I thought you might try this, but you and I both know exactly how. Let me make it nice and simple for you. First, you push the president off of the roof. Pushes? Okay. Who asked their child to help them commit murder? A crazy person. Luckily, that's not what Gavel is, so I feel like Lane just wants to argue because he can. Well, his president was murdered and he wants to, you know, find the bad guy, the killer person. Then the kid opens the combination lock because he knows the code. Yep, kid opens code, knows lock, gotcha. Okay, the other way around. And that's it. It's that simple. No more lock to worry about. And no more objections about her not being able to get in because she didn't know the code. That would explain away the problem of the lock, it's true. Thank you for your clear and incisive explanation, Agent Lang. Please continue. I will, and hopefully this next part will shut you up for good. Then they were to hide the body together too.
Hold it!
But if the two of them were working together, why would they need to hide the body for a full day? Well, look at the situation right now and right in front of you. Thanks to that little ruse, we're still puzzling over what they were up to even now. But if you'll let me speak, I can clear up this whole mess once and for all. Ready? Good. So like I was saying, they worked together to hide the body by dragging it over to the Taurosaurus suit and stuffing it inside.
Hold it!
The video footage doesn't show the inside of the suit. You can't say for certain that there was a body in there at the time, can you? Maybe not, but we can take a look right now. Let's open it up and see what's inside. I'll put my money on us finding proof that it was there. Do you mind if we examine the suit, Mr. Powers? Oh, not at all. Might be a little ripe, though. Gets pretty sweaty in there. Huh? It's filthy. Yeah, that's weird. I always clean it out pretty good. If you don't, it can get kinda moldy. In other words, what we're looking at is proof that somebody other than you using the costume. That dirt in there must have come from the body. I guess the president was lying right in the middle of that footprint. Probably would have gotten pretty dirty. Exactly. Well, everybody happy? The inside of the suit is covered with dirt. It must be from when the body was hidden there.
Hold it!
Theory seems somewhat physically improbable. Yeah, a little bit. If the dirt is from when the body was hidden inside the suit, we're assuming that it came directly from the body, correct? Ha, what are you even talking about? Of course we are. Where else would it have come from? Really is pretty filthy in there, huh? The dirt got everywhere, especially around the part where the chest would have been. The chest? I think that might be an important clue. This theory hangs together pretty well, I have to say. It's certainly the case that they could have carried out the murder if they were working together. I don't think we stand to gain much by disputing that. So what do we do instead? We listen carefully to his testimony once more, so we can tease out anything of value. What if Sean was waiting in the... Oh, jeez. Alright, let's save the game, guys. What do you think? Was dirt on the body? Yeah. Is that what that gold stuff is? The dirt, do you think?
Objection!
So our assumption is that the inside of the suit is dirty because the dirt came from the body. Would it be safe to say that's the case? Why? Is there a problem? The part of the suit directly in front of the opening is particularly dirty. Good night, Eliza. I wish you luck, alright, on sleeping. You have school? Well, maybe you won't have school because you're sick. But I hope you get better. Get better, okay? No getting more sick or the same sick. Get better. Good night to ya. Dirty. Yeah, it really is. Hang on a minute. Okay, but look at the victim. The area of his body that would have been in contact with that part of the suit isn't dirty at all. If the victim had been crammed in there, as you suggest, his chest would surely be covered in dirt. Gah. Fine. So what's your explanation? How did that dirt get inside there? Based on the videotape, there may well have been somebody in a suit at the time. So who was it if it wasn't the president? Thank you, you two. You're welcome! Come on, Kay, think. What was it? Something the matter, Kay? I've seen dirt like that somewhere else, I'm sure of it. I just can't think where. Dirt with weird little gray bits in it. Gray bits? She's right, there's something mixed in there. It was stuck to something else we looked at. Lots of it. Stuck to something we looked at. An item of evidence, maybe? It's probably worth checking. Okay. Let's check it. Easily go to school with a sore and burning throat. Jeez. I would stay home. But yeah, good night, Eliza. I wish you luck. Item with dirt stuck to it. This? Maybe this? It could be this.
Take that!
I think it's this. As Kay pointed out, the dirt in the suit contains small flecks of something gray. And? We discovered similar flecks stuck to an item belonging to somebody we recently had dealings with. The item in question being these gloves. You're right, the dirt does look similar, but so what? What are you saying this stuff is? What exactly are these gray flecks of yours? I believe the gray flecks are... Do you think they're concretes, guys? Surely they're flecks of concrete. Oh, like all those little broken up bits around the footprints, you mean? Exactly. And who did the gloves on which we found similar dirt and gray flecks belong to? Chairman Winner. We found them in his garage. That's right. We visited the garage at his home earlier today, and we found a pair of mechanic's gloves covered in dirt. Yeah, concrete. It was concrete. And if I recall correctly, a sledgehammer and a shovel too. Why would a pair of mechanic's gloves be covered in dirt? I'll tell you why. Because somebody wore them while they used that hammer and shovel. They smashed through the concrete to the dirt below, staining the gloves with both substances. Wait, so you're saying... Yes, that we finally know what these footprints really are. It seems highly likely that they were dug by Chairman Winner. Highly likely? Feh. If that was so, then tell me this. Why the heck did he make them? What purpose could they possibly serve? Why indeed, I imagine he must have been... Can't be burying something, because why would he want to bury something now? I think he must have been digging something up. I imagine events unfolded somewhat like this. Hey, Rana! Rana Zalu has arrived. How you doing, my friend? It's good to see ya. Hope you're ready for some Ace Attorneying investigationing, because that's what we're doing. There was something on this lot that he needed to unearth. In order to do so, he cut the chain of the side on the side of the entrance and gained access from there. Are you winning? I hope so. I hope I'm winning. But are you winning? He then used the sledgehammer and shovel to dig the 3 footprints. He went that way, see? Then he went there, and then he went there. When he found what he was looking for, he banged it up and filled in all the holes. Ah, but then Sean must have showed up, right? I think he did, yes. Chairman Winner would have had to find a hiding place, and the Taurosaurus suit provided just that. Gah! You got all that from a pair of dirty gloves? It's good, but it's all just speculation. We don't have any proof that he was inside that suit. He could have dug those holes and gotten out of there before the kid even showed up. But he didn't, and there's proof of that right here in the footage. Oh boy. What is it? What did he say? I could have dug those holes and gotten out of here before. It shows that Chairman Winner was still present when this recording was made. What? It's a shame that Agent Lang didn't notice it himself. But if we compare the situation as we see it now to the situation as it appears on Sean's rehearsal tape, and compare that in turn to what we saw in Chairman Winner's garage, it soon becomes clear that the chairman was present. What part of this image shows us that Chairman Winner was still here? Yeah, no idea. This is why we have guides, guys. Because I don't see it either. Maybe this bag, but just in case I'm wrong, I don't want to, do things. Oh, it is the bag. What do you know?
Take that!
Don't even know what we are looking for. We're looking for things that you were not here for, Rana. Were you here at all for any of these streams? This game is crazy, by the way, Rana. There's a lot of crazy stuff. Look at the bag next to Taurosaurus's suit. We saw the same bag in Chairman Winner's garage. The same bag, the dirt on the gloves. That has to indicate a connection, surely. Doo-doo-doo-doo. Give me a second, lads. Gives the organizer. I think that pretty much seals it. It was Excelsius Winner in that suit. See you play the first one twice, I think. Or you see me play the first one twice. I only played it one time. I'm, playing the second game on this collection now. And if he was in there, the president's body can't have been. Ayah! Good. It seems to have convinced Agent Lang of the flaws in his theory. Somebody get to Chairman Winner's house right away. We need to know what's in that bag. Yes, sir. I saw you twice playing the first one. Oh, gotcha. You stopped by 2 of them. I gotcha. It's a crazy game. Maybe I should redeem the points to you, the you of the play that game. Maybe, Rana. Y'all here? Y'all done lost your minds? I can't believe what I'm hearing here. What is this, Hogswell? This is all we need. Them right there's Taurosaurus's footprints, dang it. Ain't no holes dung by no old guy. I think I've demonstrated more than adequately that that's exactly what they are. Don't matter to me none what you just did. I don't believe it. That's that. I done told y'all. I seen that big bad bull with my own 2 eyes. The giant eye peering in at the window? I thought we'd gotten past that nonsense. Oh, Edgeworth said that. We just ain't about to let that go. We kind of journalists, or what kind of journalists would we be if we did, huh? Responsible ones, but I guess that's the whole problem. Wait, ain't like it was just about the footprints anyhow? You were seen fraternizing with one of them there monsters, ain't that correct, young man? By the young lady over there, if I'm not very much mistaken? We're never going to get anywhere with these 2 around. Maybe if we could prove it to them that it wasn't a monster either, they might finally drop it. What do you think, Mr. Edgeworth? Any bright ideas? Prove that it wasn't a monster? Fine, I don't suppose there's much else for it. Let's see what we can do. What are you 2 whispering about? Y'all are hiding something, ain't you? Admit it. Quick, Tabby, roll tape. Could I politely ask that you both calm down? The monster the boy was seen talking to. We know what it was now. Huh? That's right. Sean's rehearsal tape finally cleared up that particular mystery. It did? The point at which Miss Nicholas thought she saw Sean with Gordy. I would have been right when he was making the rehearsal tape. I think she mistook a certain object for the legendary creature of the lake. Your so-called monster is right here in this picture. Huh? I ain't seen no Gordy. There ain't nothing but a dumb snapshot. You're talking to a pro here. Can't fool me with no trick photography. I better save just in case. Just in case something happens again. Now give me a second, guys, so I can get back in me chat room. Come on, you piece of crap. Okay. Trick photography. What was Miss Nicholas Gordy really? It was him. It was the boy this whole time. He's the monster. Just kidding, it's the camera. That's right. It was a camera crane. That is what Miss Nicholas saw, not Gordy. The camera! Yes, the camera. What? Sean's rehearsal tape was shot from a noticeable elevated viewpoint, a viewpoint that would only have been possible if the camera in question was attached to a crane. Bull, how the heck would she make a mistake like that, huh? How indeed, Miss Nicholas. Yes? You told us that you think you might need new glasses, don't you? Yeah, my eyesight got way worse all of a sudden. And I imagine that's when you thought you saw Gordy, he was quite heavily shrouded in darkness. That's right, I only really saw a silhouette. But you done told us. Skin like an enormous worm, you said. Y'all about to try and tell us your precious crane up and grew skin somehow? I ain't even no flesh on them their metal bones, let alone skin. You're entirely correct, of course, about the crane as it was in this particular picture anyway. But it did have a skin of sort last night. I knew you were a scoop hater, but this is plumb crazy. You want Tabby and me to starve, is that it? That wasn't my intent at all, but I do think it's time I finally put them both out of their misery. I'm okay with that. Gordy's skin is right here in front of us. It wasn't skin at all, it was this. It was... Grand Fence the Cloth.
Take that!
Miss Nicholas told us that it seemed likely to rain last night. That never happened in the end, but I think Sean may have covered the crane with rainproof sheeting nonetheless. And that, my intrepid young reporters, is what Nicholas mistook for Gordy's skin. What? Aw, heck. Well, Sean, am I mistaken? You see everything, don't you? Gotta say you're pretty amazing. Yay, we impressed a kid. I'm sorry, Miss Hart, but Miss Nicholas's monster was no such thing. It was simply a trick of the light. And just like that, the dream dies. Again. Chief. Heh, I think that may have finally shut them up. I thought the kid was holding out on us, but it seems I coulda maybe have been a little wrong, maybe? Alright, we know what the so-called monster was now. Everybody happy? Everybody except these two. Heh. Agent Lang. Good news? Greatest achievement impressing children. Yep. With our amazing deductions. The President's autopsy report is out, sir. It is? Let me see it. Death was due to full body contussions and bone breakages caused by extreme pressure from above. So we have our cause of death. He was crushed. Just as we thought. So, cause of death crushing. Good to know. Test results still haven't come back from the yellow substance found on his chest, but they did find gunshot residue on his right hand. Gum shop residue? Guess he was a kid at art, huh? Gunshot residue, K. It's a substance left behind when a firearm is discharged. Its presence indicates that the President may have used a gun. Really? But we didn't find a gun anywhere, did we? Indeed not, which makes the residue something of a riddle. We'll need to read that report carefully. Well, Agent Lang, that clears one thing up at least. The President didn't die from a fall, which means he wasn't pushed from the roof of the big building. He was crushed by the falling Taurosaurus head, just as we said he was. Yep, didn't fall. I guess I have to accept that now. Fine, you were right. Amazing. So does that mean Judge Gabelle isn't a suspect anymore either? Surely it must. Both the cause and time of death rule her out. She met with the President the night before last, but the autopsy report puts the time of death at around 11 p.m. last night. And we know that the Taurosaurus head fell around then, too. The facts are all lined up perfectly. Phew, what a relief. Sorry, it might be a little too soon to celebrate. What? Sure, I think we can accept that. The falling head must have been what killed the President, but that begs the question of what could have caused it to fall. Or who. We know it happened late last night, so who we have to think about who was here at the time. What are you getting at exactly? You can't mean... I'm afraid I do. You did it, didn't you? Sean! The kid's hiding something. He was right here last night, right where the body was found. He saw the footprints. And yet he wants us to believe he knows nothing about what happened? That's a big ask, Shirley. We haven't yet established if the footprints have anything to do with the murder. So even if he did see them, that doesn't mean he was involved. Maybe not, but his face tells me differently. Well, I guess it was Sean, guys. A little kid killed the big president. As does the fact that he's shaking like a leaf. It does seem like Agent Lang might be onto something, but I don't think Sean's going to talk. Fine, keep your mouth shut, kid. I have a better idea. Why don't we let your tape do the talking? What exactly are you planning, Agent Lang? The police have some pretty sophisticated image analysis tools these days. You would go to such extreme lengths to see my son convicted? It's not ideal, but if the boy won't talk, we don't have any other way of getting to the truth. Detective Gumshoe, you have access to exactly such a device, do you not? Sure do, Little V. Good, then that should make this nice and quick. Mr. Edgeworth, might I request that it be you who carries out the analysis in question? Why me? I fear that Agent Lang might be inclined to believe the worst. Image analysis isn't exactly my speciality, but alright. Are there any new clues to be discovered somewhere in the image data, I wonder? Zoom in. Yeah, I'm not seeing anything here. So, be right back, guys. It is time to talk to the guide once again. Because I don't know what the heck we're doing right now. Present. Okay, forensics, crime notes. Zoom in on the upper right section. Upper right. Is that here? There's nothing of interest here. Okay, cool guide. Cool guide, guys. We'll just present them all. Nope. Chairman Winter brought those tools all the way from his garage. What did he need to dig up so badly? I wish I knew. That hammer was huge, huh? It was. I imagine it's what he used to break the concrete. Which is to say there weren't monster footprints at all. Imagine you're probably a little disappointed to learn that. I'm the thief who steals the truth. I have to be able to deal with the truth no matter what it might be. I have to be strong, and I will be strong. Be strong, Kate, be strong. In other words, you were disappointed. New clues here, then. Chairman Winter brought these tools all the way. What the heck, game? What is this? Okay. Wings autopsy. Last night. Zoom in on the upper right section and present President Wing. Upper right section. How, though? Oh, zoom in. I didn't even see that option there. Well, I thought that said, like, something else. Are those eyes? Hey, look! There's a dude here. I better keep the guide up at this point. Cause, who knows? What the? What is it, Mr. Edgeworth? Let me see, let me see. Eek! What is it? What's the matter? Show me. Mr. Edgeworth, the court asks that you share your findings. Zoom in on the top right part of the image and look closely. There's a person there. It's the president? Oh my. What? Let me get back into my chat room. You're kidding, right? Well, I'd say that's pretty decisive, wouldn't you? This doesn't look good for Sean at all. Wait, that doesn't prove anything. I didn't know he was there. I don't believe you, and the image does in fact prove something very important. That you and the president were here at the scene of the crime together. Admit it, kid. You murdered President Wang. No, that's ridiculous. Why? Why would he? Sean, you didn't... You can't have... Can you? What do we do, Mr. Edgeworth? It's hard to push back against footage like that. Surely, even you can't deny this looks pretty bad for the kid, huh, Mr. Prosecutor? Arg. He claimed that he knew nothing about what happened, but the president is right there with him. Sean, What are you not telling us? We have to know. He's right, Sean. Be honest now. It's the only way. The truth is, it was all my fault. Sean, what did you do? It was my fault. The Taurosaurus head fell off of the trailer. Alright, here we go. I went up to the roof of the trailer to prep the kit I was using, and I turned on the heater while I was there. I must have left it burning when I came back down to run my lines. Then my mom called and I left the set to go talk to her. When I came back after the call, the Taurosaurus head had fallen from the roof and the president was just there, lying next to it. No! We did find evidence of a fire having broken out up on the roof. It was just a tiny one, so I put it out myself. So, we're saying the president died because of Sean? If he did, that would make this whole thing just an accident. What did you do with the head after you found it on the ground? I took it apart, carried the pieces up to the roof, and put it back together again. You're saying you put out the fire and moved the head back to where it fell from? In other words, you try to cover your tracks. You're a real piece of work, kid. It's not like I did any of this on purpose. Really did just forget to turn the heater off. Yes, and when that fire had burned through the legs, the table would have collapsed and the head would have fallen down onto the ground below. You're right, the fire caused the head to fall. Indeed, and I also happen to have an idea how the fire may have started. Those cans of paint thinner by the heater are pretty flammable. Not a great place to keep them. And you swear it was an accident? Seems a little convenient. What was the president really even doing here in the first place? How the heck am I supposed to know? I didn't see anybody. I swear. I still don't believe you. Why would President Wang come to a place like this in the middle of the night? His reasons for coming here are something of a mystery, it's true. He met with Judge Gavel up on the roof 2 nights ago, but he was also here on the movie set last night. Did he come to meet Sean? I think we'll need to go over the boy's statement very carefully indeed. This kid's a real piece of work, huh? I went up on the roof of the trailer to prep the kit I was using, and I turned on the heater while I was there.
Hold it!
You're a fit and hearty young man, Sean. It's spring now. Surely you didn't really need to fire up that stove. He's a fit and hearty young man who needs to look after himself. Really, Your Honor, but if he resorts to such measures even during warm weather... Seriously? You two are going to argue over something like that right now? Nah, he's right, of course. You've made your point, Sean, but I've told you before to watch how you talk to people. I think he was criticizing you as much as he was me, Your Honor. Yes, Mom. Anyway, where was I? I must have left it burning when I came back down to run my lines.
Hold it!
You left it burning? You didn't think to check before you came back, down to the lot? I meant to, but I was thinking about my lines and the scenes and everything else. It's not my fault I forgot. Everybody forgets stuff. I sure do. So much stuff. I leave the air conditioner on in Mr. Edgeworth's office and the lights. I forget that he told me never to jump off the ladder on his bookshelves or make prank calls. But the one thing I would never ever forget to do is turn off an unattended heater. Please, Sean, go on. She's a lot, huh? Anyway, as I was saying... And my mom called and I left to go... the set to go talk to her.
Hold it!
It was the middle of the night, and the set was deserted. Why did you need to leave in order to talk to your mother? I forgot I was supposed to talk to her. I got confused, I guess. I thought if I didn't leave, she'd find out I was out of the hotel the night at night on my own. Doesn't make sense. You know that, don't you? Fine. Look, the camera was rolling and the mics were all live, okay? Didn't want our conversation on the tape where anybody could hear it. He was embarrassed about being recorded speaking on the phone to his mother? So I ditched the rehearsal and ran off set as quickly as I could. When I came back after the call,
Hold it!
you pretended to your mother that you were back at the hotel during the call, right? Correct? How come you couldn't tell her you were coming back to the set to practice your lines? Because she'd have phoned the hotel and asked them to send a car to get me or something. Of course I would have. A child your age shouldn't be out on his own late at night. Anything could happen to you. Children really can't seem to see things from their parents' perspective, can they? It's true the other way around too, you know, Mr. Edgeworth. Alright, Sean, can you tell us what happened when you came back after speaking to your mother? Huh? Oh, sure. So I came back in. The Taurosaurus had fallen from the roof, and...
Hold it!
Were there any signs that it was about to fall before you left? I don't remember. I was concentrating on my lines. But a fire had broken out on the roof because the heater you forgot to turn off. Did you really hear nothing the entire time? No, I had my headphones on. Huh? Why? I was playing the soundtrack to the movie to help me concentrate, and I was playing it loud. So yeah, I definitely didn't hear anything. Except for the sound of your phone ringing when Judge Gavel called you. You know that cell phones vibrate these days, right? Anyway. The president was just there lying next to it.
Hold it!
Did you notice anything unusual about the body? I don't know. It was dark. Suddenly seemed even more reticent than usual. I don't think he wants to go back over that memory any more than he has to, Mr. Edgeworth. I'm sure he doesn't, but is that really all it is? Should I push him a little more on this? Oh, probably. Right, guys? Always push. It was dark, but you knew it was a body nonetheless? He's hiding something. I better find out what. Most people would cry out for help if they saw somebody lying on the ground, and yet you didn't. Yeah, because, what was the point? He was dead. So you said. What I'm interested in is how you were able to be so sure. Why were you certain that he was dead? He was lying on the ground and that huge head was right next to him. Didn't it take much to figure out what must have happened? You couldn't have guessed that the impact would have killed him. How did you really know? I'll tell you how, because you checked. Fine, I checked, okay? I was scared, but yeah, I went up to the body and looked, and he wasn't breathing. So I was right. But why try to hide that fact? There must be a reason. Could you tell me how the body looked at that point? I couldn't tell if he was dead at first. There was no blood or anything, so it was hard to be sure. Nothing on his clothes either. He was completely clean. But yeah, he wasn't breathing. So that's how I knew he was dead. Thank you. I'd like you to add that statement to your testimony if you don't mind. He was clean. Which means, he didn't see the gold stuff, maybe. So, maybe the batter? Nothing on his clothes. Nothing at all? Yeah, nothing. Why? Is there a problem with that? There's something you clearly hoping that we've forgotten. What are you talking about? There isn't. That's not true. Unluckily for you, we remember it rather well. I'm talking about, of course, about the yellow speckles on the president's chest. You've studiously avoided mentioning them throughout your testimony. An absence I find suspicious, to say the least. Oh, that's... I hope for your sake that you have a satisfactory explanation. Judge Gavel? Allow me to explain. But the yellow residue on the president's chest? I imagine it was from a bouquet of flowers. Lion lilies, to be precise. Lion lilies? 2 nights ago, when I met the president on the roof of the big building, I presented him with a bouquet. They're a type of lily with large yellow petals. I imagine that the substance on President Wang's chest was pollen from those flowers. Huh? But they're not there in the printout from the security camera, only because the president is in the way. But why give him flowers? That is not something I am at liberty to divulge. Really? Lion lilies? Lion lilies! I know, right? That's a real flower, right, guys? What? More secrets? Are you serious? First you wouldn't tell us why you met with him, and now you can't even tell us about the flowers? My sincerest apologies, but all I can tell you is that I gave him the bouquet. A bouquet that was nowhere near the body when it was discovered. How do you explain that? I cannot. Ha! Seriously, Your Honor? Some things you won't explain, the rest you can't. Come on, you've got to give us something here. You wouldn't let this fly in the courtroom. What makes you think we'll accept it? Hey, you leave her alone. Sean, I threw the flowers away, okay? You did? So they were there when you first found the body? Yeah, they were right there on his chest, and they were squashed completely flat. Oh, I guess that makes sense, right? They would have gotten crushed along with the president, and the pollen would have been smeared across his jacket front. It does explain things rather neatly, but why remove the bouquet and dispose of it? No reason. He's almost as evasive as his mother. More secrets, they're quite the pair. Not so fast, you think so? Why are you a cow kid? It's his role. His role is he's a boy in a movie who can telepathy with the big monster here. With Tarosaurus here. So that's why he's a cow. He's part bull or something. There is no secret. I know exactly why Sean disposed of the bouquet. Huh? You saw me leave the house with it, didn't you? Oh, I get it. When you saw the flowers on the president's body, you remembered seeing your mom with them, and felt the need to prevent her from coming under suspicion. No, you got it all wrong. That's his least convincing lie yet. Doodle-doo. Yep. Now you know the secret of Sean and his weird getup. I often decorate our home with lion lilies. I imagine that's why he remembered. So the flowers his mother was carrying showed up on the president's body, and because of that he got rid of the bouquet and kept quiet about having discovered the corpse? Heh, well that ties everything up nicely, doesn't it? A little too nicely for my taste. Why? What's wrong with nice? I guess you forgot, huh? The kid also told us that he was responsible for the head falling in the first place. Yeah, he did, but... So he's still our only suspect. The finger of suspicion still seems to be pointing firmly in Sean's direction. However, wait, I can think of a far more likely culprit than the boy. What? Who? The person who was holding Sean captive until only a short while ago. That's right, we had to rescue him from a warehouse refrigeration unit down by the harbor. A refrigeration unit in a depot? Yeah. Luckily it wasn't switched on. Poor kid might have frozen into a popsicle otherwise. He was doing his best to call out for help, which is how we found him. The sedatives have worn off by then, so he was wide awake and plenty loud. Sedatives? Isn't that what you were given too? Yep, we found the bottle on the floor of the unit. It was even in the same brand. 3 Z's. Apparently, it's super strong. Well, Agent Lang, surely that suggests that Sean is a victim, not a suspect. Somebody else was responsible, and I think they've been behind all of this. Oh yeah, and this secret mastermind of yours was here last night too? That, I can't yet say. Ha! It's not like you to be so vague, Mr. Prosecutor. Sadly, we just don't have anything to tie our mysterious kidnapper to the murder of the president. So was there anybody else? Somebody other than Sean who could have committed the murder? Just in case we have to answer that. Of course. So I was right. The kid is still our only suspect. Not quite. I can think of another. What? Somebody who we just recently proved was right here on the movie set last night. Chairman Winner? You think he killed President Wang? Why not? We've proven that he was present. And if he was here, he's as viable a suspect as anybody else. Wouldn't you say? Winner? Could he really have? It's certainly another possibility to consider. 12 years ago, he was... That number again. Look, a lot happened, okay? This was all 12 years ago or more. My father and the president being friends, our family being the ones who kept him safe. Lang? Like the Lang from 12 years ago? Yep, good to see that you're finally about to pay for your crimes. Even if it did take a while for you to get what was coming to you. Agent Lang, what happened 12 years ago? It's nothing to do with you. I think it has everything to do with me. It's clearly connected to this case. Heh, and you can prove that, can you? Go ahead, show me some proof that what happened 12 years ago has anything to do with this case. With this. Proof? If you can't prove it, this conversation's over. Does any of the evidence we've collected show a link between recent events and those of 12 years ago? Oh, I forgot to say I want to save. But I can't save, so I have to look it up. Not sure. Not even know what we're looking for. Updated. Sedative. Okay, present the forged letter.
Take that!
Apparently. Okay. Oh, come on. There we go. Okay. This letter was sent to Rosie Ringer, the victim of the murder that happened the night before last. We don't know who sent it, but it does say this. Good luck getting your revenge for what happened 12 years ago. What? But... And that's not all. Take a look at this. It's a report about Bronco Knight written by Warden Lagarde. It was addressed to Chairman Winner. His last part in particular should be of interest to you. Retrieve the package we laid to rest 12 years ago, in front of the planter? Something strange is going on, Agent Lang. Miss Ringer was murdered the night before last, and President Wayne was not long afterward. There's a connection between the two murders. There has to be. And I believe we can trace that connection to events 12 years in the past. Am I wrong? These are old wounds you're opening here. Insults to my family name. Please, Agent Lang, we need to know. Now what? Who on earth was that? Shifu! Oh, it's his bros. His men. Huh? What are you all doing here? I came to find you, sir. We heard you were looking into the incident from 12 years ago. Idiots. I'm not your boss anymore. Get back to your duties right now. We can't do that, sir. What? You're disobeying a direct order? Please, sir, I'm begging you. We all are. You have to reopen the investigation into the SS5 incident. We know you can't let it go until you figured out what happened, and we can't either. ... Well, Agent Lang, it seems your former underlings want the events of the past explained too. You think it's that easy? That you could solve the case just like that? I think we can. Together. Ha. Well, alright then. Officer, offer accepted. Yes, Shifu, Shifu, Shifu! Nice, then I guess it's my turn to step up. I'm sorry, Kay. You're looking into a case from the past, right? I just happen to have something that'll help with that. Ah, you mean Mr. Thief? Sure do. If you can give me the details of the incident, I can rustle up a little simulation for you. Sadly, we don't have the files related to the case. Huh? How come? Access to those files is restricted. They're top secret. Really? Why? Beats me. Somebody must have something to hide. Even I've never seen them. Everything I know I read in newspaper articles from the time. That's fine. Just tell us what you can. Alright. The SS5 incident happened on a winter's day 12 years ago, February 10th to be precise. Your police received a call directly from the kidnapper. I've got the president of Zhangfa. So he was kidnapped? Yeah, the SS5 is the official designation of the president's kidnapping case. The kidnapper wanted $100 million. $100 million? How much money even is that? More than you can imagine, it seems. The last person to see the president that night was my father. They were together at the embassy of Zangfa until midnight on the 10th. And nobody knows what happened with the president after that until he was kidnapped. Our government did everything they could to scrape together the money. They were desperate to save him. And in the end they succeeded. The money was handed over and the president came home safely. So President Wang was head honcho even back then? Wow, go Mr. President. Heh, the length of time he stayed in power isn't even close to the most impressive thing about him. Agent Lang was clearly very fond of President Wang. I assume the kidnapping was thoroughly investigated. It was, but the investigation was top secret, as was the trial. The trial? So a suspect was arrested? Yeah, none other than our friend, Fifi Lagarde. What? Is that why you visited the prison? It is. I was put on what you might call extended leave from Interpol, so I thought I'd use that time to look into what happened 12 years ago. And I wanted to see who I was dealing with. She was found not guilty then, wasn't she? Yeah. My father was in charge of the president's security at the time, but they held him responsible for the kidnapping and stripped him of his duties as presidential bodyguard. He stayed on the force, though, and he worked the case alone, until eventually he found a suspect, Lagarde, and if he thought she did it, there's no way she was innocent. But they declared her not guilty, and the case went cold. My father couldn't take it. He was broken mentally and physically. Finally, he quit the force altogether. So he had solid grounds to suspect Warden Lagarde? He must have had evidence. He wouldn't have charged her otherwise. But I've never been able to see the materials from the case. I'm sorry, but that's all I know. What do we do, Mr. Edgeworth? This is useful information, but... Hey, Captain Chips! Finally took forever to get back in. What happened? Did the internet? I don't think it's enough for Little Thief to recreate the scene. Is there really nothing we can do? You look like you could use a hand. Who's this now? Aha! Twitch logged you out? Oh no. Yeah, Twitch does that sometimes. It does it to me too. Quite annoying. Franziska and Mr. Fender. We finally wrapped things up over at the courthouse, so we thought we'd see what you kids were up to. Here. What's this? It says SS5 Incident Investigation Report. Yay! Woo! Franziska and Fender to the rescue. Yes, they made it. When Fifi Lagarde mentioned an incident from 12 years ago earlier, I couldn't help but wonder, so I decided to look into it, and this was what Interpol provided. Nice work, Franziska. Don't get the wrong idea. Miles Edgeworth, you're no longer a prosecutor. I didn't do this for you. I did it so that a colleague could solve his father's final case. I owe you, sis, but everything related to the SS5 incident was supposed to be top secret. Yes, but that classification was applied by the prosecutor in charge of the case, Excelsius Winner. He was the prosecutor in charge? Him again? Don't worry. Due to the outcome of this morning's case, he's been stripped of his authority. An outcome that was in no small part thanks to the efforts of his own son. Eustace. So in defeating his father, he made the old case file available to us? It sounds like we owe him. Prosecutor Eustace Winner is busy wrapping things up after the conclusion of the Lagarde trial. But he asked me to give you a message. Leave Dad and Lagarde to me. You focus on your case over there. Heh, he's even starting to sound like a prosecutor. Indeed he is. Alright, now we have the case file. I can recreate the scene no problem. Excellent. Let's get started. Huh? According to the file, the incident occurred exactly where the plaza is now. Then what are we waiting for? With me, everyone! Your favorite Gundam character is Quatre Winner. Isn't he from, Gundam Wing? Gundam of the Wing? No wonder Lang hates prosecutors. Yeah, I guess it's because of Winner. Excelsius. Bye. Alright, Kay, if you could set Mr. Thief in motion. Sure, looks like there's more than enough here to work with. Where do you want to start? Good question. Let's see. It seems like there was an eyewitness. A freelance journalist by the name of Alf Aldown. Alf Aldown. Alf Aldown? But apparently, he was killed by the culprit for witnessing the kidnapping. So this is what he saw. So this is where he saw it all happen, huh? Here? As in the big building? No, construction of the big building only began a year ago. Before that, it had been a piece of abandoned property. As he's the fall guy. Gotcha. And before that... now we're getting to the stuff I know. 12 years ago, this place would have been... a school or something? The Happy Family Home. Like, for retired people? No, it was a place for children without parents. An orphanage, in other words. The president was kidnapped from an orphanage. Yeah, and the place was run by Fifi Lagarde. She called it her happy little home. As the proprietor of the institution, I suppose it's understandable that she came under suspicion. President Wang, Excelsius winner, and Warden Lagarde. Surely the SS-5 incident must be related to our current case. Okay, could you enter the data relating to the murder of Mr. Aldown? It seems sensible to assume that he was killed by whoever kidnapped the president. If we solve the murder, we're solving the kidnapping. Nice! Alright, we're counting on you. Here we go again, guys. Wow. Oh my gosh. What the heck is this? When did I grow to be so biased toward people's reactions to Mr. Thief? What we're seeing here is the front yard of the orphanage as it was 12 years ago. At least as far as the police reports describe it. Yeah, this is how he looked when they started investigating at 7 a.m. the morning after the murder. And it seems it had been snowing. Yeah, from what I heard, the footprints wound up pretty important evidence. The snow fell in the daytime the previous day. In other words, before the incident occurred, meaning that none of the relevant footprints would have been obscured by new snow. I think we'll need to pay these footprints some special attention. Well, here we go. Oh, these footprints stopped by the body. I guess that means they belong to Mr. Aldown, right? His feet were pretty big. What's that, about a size 12? How'd he go from suspect in the kidnapping of a world leader to running an international prison? Good question. This whole thing is very shady. It's a match! Hello. Alf Aldown, a man who witnessed the president's kidnapping. But what exactly did he see? I based this part on the recreation of one of the crime scene photos. Seems he suffered a blow to the back of the head. Yeah, from the brick right there. They figured it must have been taken from here in the yard. Looks like the blood flowed from the head wound and spread over the surrounding area. Here, a gift for you. This is Mr. Aldown's autopsy report. I must scour the scene and inspect anything that catches my attention. How about the phone? This cell phone must have belonged to the victim. You're right. Yeah, it says here in the file that Mr. Aldown made a call while he was watching the kidnapping. A call? To whom? His girlfriend. Seems he called her when he saw that the president was there. But she didn't pick up, so he left a message. That's in here too, if you want to hear it. Please. Hey, Rosie. It's me. Rosie. Hey, Rosie, it's me. I guess you're asleep already. Anyway, I'm here at the orphanage. Something weird's going on. President Wang is here for some reason, and there's another... Damn it, the light's out, so I can't quite see, but it looks like he was being kidnapped. Anyway, probably nothing, but I thought I should let you know. What were those sounds at the end? He must have been attacked while he was still on the phone. Agent Lang, can I ask you something? Mr. Aldown's girlfriend, what was her name? Ringer. Rosie Ringer. At least that's what I heard. Just as I thought. Wait, you mean her revenge for what happened 12 years ago? All Miss Ringer was left with were the memories and personal effects of her lover, and so, seeking revenge on Chairman Winner, she made her appearance at the auction. So she really was out for revenge on Chairman Winner, wasn't she? Perhaps it was for his suppression of the kidnapping. Perhaps it was because she thought he was one of the kidnappers. Ooh, the plot thickens even more, everyone. Ho ho ho. What is this? Somebody dropped a yellow flower here. I think this one symbolizes, the desire to steal treasures. Okay, you can't just make things up. What we can say is that it looks to be different from all the other flowers in the planter. Huh? So what's it doing here? What indeed? We should examine the planters, too. Must be right, somebody must have stolen it. It's a stolen treasure. Okay, I think this one might actually symbolize the growing anger of the former prosecutor. Huh. Well... This was the brick used in the murder. There's stuff made of bricks all around the yard here. They probably took it from somewhere nearby, What about his camera? So the victim was carrying a camera. Oh yeah, according to the file, they recovered a picture. Yeah, here we are. It's the president, right? And somebody's pointing a gun at him. This must be what Mr. Aldown witnessed. So the person in the trench coat is the kidnapper? Yes, I imagine they were trying to conceal their identity. But if Agent Lang's father theory was correct, then person wearing the trench coat is Warden Lagarde. How come they only found the one picture? Probably wasn't able to take any more before he was attacked. And what about the snowman? Huh? Alf Aldown, a freelance journalist, killed after witnessing the kidnapping of President Wang. Even in the recreation, it's pretty gruesome, huh? It's even worse than the actual crime scene photo. That's a lot of blood. It seems mostly to have come from the back of his head. As you can see, that area is completely caked. Yeah, perhaps the report says that's where he was hit with the brick. Indeed, I imagine his attacker must have snuck up on him from behind. Looks as if he's clutching something in his right hand. Oh yeah? They mentioned that in the file somewhere. Let's see. According to this, it was a button. A button? Torn from the attacker's clothing, perhaps? Who is it? But who is it? Who's the killer, man? Is that it? Is that it, guys? Is that it? I think that's it. Alright, do we examine the planter thingies? Hey, this arch. We've seen it somewhere before, right? Indeed we have. It's the same one that stands over the entrance of the big building today. But this is supposed to be how things looked 12 years ago. What if, was it there the whole time? Seems the architect worked the old archway into the structure of the new building. The future is simply the past reheated. I think I heard that somewhere. And for once it seems you might have remembered it correctly. But 12 years ago, 12 years is a long time to reheat something for. If it was your lunch, it'd be ruined. Okay. It's a porch swing with an elephant's face on it, and behind it is what appears to be a motor. You know what every dedicated swing fiend always wonders, don't you? If they can swing all the way over the top and back again. Maybe a motorized swing could finally make that dream come true. Wouldn't that be a little dangerous? And what's a dream? And what dream isn't, huh? Nothing ventured, nothing gained. True, but hardly applicable in this case. Why didn't the culprit shoot Alf Aldown? I don't know. Maybe, because he was busy attacking with the brick. Is there anything new? Footprints and brick. That's not gonna help matters. 3 planters, covered with snow. Is anything the matter, Agent Lang? Yeah, Something's not right. Wasn't able to look at the case file until now. Indeed, you have Chairman Winter to thank for that, it seems. Yeah, but what's weird is I've seen this scene somewhere before. What? But where? I keep thinking I've got it, but then it's gone. He appears to be lost in his efforts to remember. Perhaps I should leave him alone for now. President Wang changed after the SS5 incident. I guess he felt his trust had been betrayed. Can understand that. But to cut ties with my family completely, after how close we'd been for all those years? My father was desperate to make amends, to get this one chance to say sorry. But no matter how many times he tried to get an audience with the president, he couldn't. He couldn't even convince them to take a letter to him. One time he came home covered in bruises. Who knows from where? A bodyguard, maybe? Hey, Mafia! Happy lurk. Good to see ya. Sorry, there's no point making you sit through old stories that won't change anything anyway. I'll be the judge of that. As warm and fuzzy as ever, I see. Not that I expected any different. That case ruined my father, and my family too. The people who failed to keep the president safe, that's all we were after that. He threw himself heart and soul into that investigation. He's became obsessed, in other words. Hardly the best state of mind at which to undertake an inquiry. Wow, you really don't pull your punches, huh? Look, just don't go thinking I'm the only one this because of my dad, okay? The investigation was solid. His work was meticulous, and it was inaccurate. It always was. He interviewed every single one of those kids, and he was made sure they told him everything. Wonder if he learned anything of value. Question, was the second set of footprints counted the same as the victims? Good question. These footprints go toward the body and come back. According to the case file, they're thought to be the killers. About the size 9, pretty average in other words. It seems the police were able to track down who the murderer was from them, though. Okay. Oh. I don't believe there's anything more to be found here. Yep, you are right. You are right. Anything else? Can I help you, Mr. Edgeworth? I cannot thank you all enough for returning Sean safely to me. I can hardly bear to imagine how I would have felt if he had not come home. Hey, old guy, can't you see you're upsetting her? That was not my intent at all. Hee hee, look at our little knight in shining armor, defending his mom's honor. Shut up, I wouldn't have to if you didn't keep... That's enough, Sean. Mr. Edgeworth, if you'll allow me, I would like to apologize again. I failed in my duty as a servant of justice. I will not ask you to forgive me, only ask you to understand that I... Judge Cavell, I don't presume to know the goddesses of justice as well as you do, but she was a mother, was she not? Of other gods and goddesses. She was. Fair judgment requires personal circumstances to be taken into account. I'm sure she would understand. Perhaps your beloved goddess is more merciful than you give her credit for. Thank you, Mr. Edgeworth. What are they even talking about? Don't worry, Sean. I don't have a clue either. So things are finally settled, left down after the Warden Lagarde's trial? It would seem so. Sentencing is still to come, but the guilty verdict should stand. And do not worry, Excelsius Winter's connection to the case will be thoroughly investigated. Have faith, Mr. Edgeworth. Eustace is in charge, is a changed man. Indeed, he simply had some growing to do. But then, don't we all, Kay included? Huh? Kinda feel for him now. Said some pretty mean things, but I'll make it up to him next time I get the chance. And I'm sure that chance will come, but for now... Indeed, we need to focus on the case at hand. There are burn marks on the pillar here. The report says there was a fire sometime on the evening of the incident. A fire? Let's see. Where was it again? Ah! Yeah, one of the orphans set a fire with some kerosene. Some sort of prank, probably. They sound like a lively bunch. Possibly too lively. It seems their antics spoiled our chances of finding any footprints near the entrance of the building. Thanks. You punk kids. You ruined everything. An igloo shaped like a bear, the perfect balance of cuteness and scariness. Guess you could call it a big-loo. It is quite large. You could probably fit as many as 3 people inside it. Yeah, and they could live in there for 3 whole years. 3 years. And what about the summer? Wouldn't the big igloo melt? Again, say it again, Mr. Edgeworth, please. One more time. Wouldn't the igloo melt? Gah, you're no fun. Looks chillier than your chilliest look out there, Malzarino. Someone might have to warn me up. Could you maybe take this a little more seriously, Mr. Fender? For you, Keysmeister, anything. Can't believe this whole sorry tale began right here. Kinda crazy, right? Yes, it is a little. What were Fiefs and the chairman up to, though? Where were they going with all this? Where indeed? Very much like to know that myself. I'd very much like to know when you two are going to admit how much you love your Uncle Eddie. No, not anytime soon. Come on, Mr. Fender. I'm not taking this seriously at all. You did for about 3 sentences, which is something of a record. Ho 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 ho. Oh, Mr. Fender. Oh, that's just this again. Yep, nothing to examine. Wait, did I examine? Shush. Okay, yep, there's nothing else. Okay. We're running out of these planters. According to the case file, the yard stretched around 3 sides of the orphanage. And there were 3 planters on each side. Ooh, yes, planters arranged in a very particular pattern. Ones we've seen somewhere before. Guys. Guess it was the middle of winter. Yes, but look at that one, it's bright yellow. Weird, how come there's only one? Wait, looks like somebody dropped it. That's a lion lily, if I'm not very much mistaken. A rare member of the family lily, you say. A lion lily, you say? Well, didn't Judge Gavel give President Wang some lion lilies? What is the same flower doing here? This can't be a coincidence. Can it? I believe this particular cultivar is from Asia, where it's said to symbolize the bond between parent and child. Wasn't aware you were so knowledgeable when it comes to flowers, Francisca. Huh, what I just told you is common knowledge. You should just need to read a little more. Is it, though? Is it common knowledge? Alright, whoops. Yo, guys, guess what? 3 footprints, 3 planters. So that's what our monstrous hoofprints really were. Wait, what? Recall the arrangement of the prints. Now compare it to that of the planters. Whoa! Wonder if that president is or was Gavel's father. Maybe. I don't think so, actually. I don't think she's from Zhengfa, the, Gavel. That's right. I believe the footprints are located exactly where our planters once stood. So, Chairman Winter was digging around the front of them? He was, and why he might have been doing that, or why might he been? We have a piece of evidence in our possession that answers exactly that question. But just in case we don't, or just in case Ultima doesn't know, let's save it. Which piece of evidence shows why Chairman Winter might have been digging in front of the planters? I don't know. Really think I know? Sedative, bouquet. I don't remember, and I don't want to even work out which one it is. So, to the guide I go. Give me a second, guys. Give me a second. Planters and 3 footprints. Present the report on night, apparently.
Take that!
Yeah, I don't even remember the report on night. Of course I wasn't gonna remember that one. No, not the gun, apparently. Not the guns. Recall, if you will, the report that Wood and Lagarde was sent to Chairman Winter. It is, she mentioned something that had been laid to rest in front of a planter. You think she was telling him where to dig? Wait, but why 3 holes? Because the report didn't specify which of the planters she meant. I get it, so he wasn't sure which one it was. Which means he had to try and dig up all 3. I imagine so, yes. Poor Chairman Winter. But why go to all that trouble? What was he looking for? I think that's about all we can learn from the scene for now. Alright, how about I try to show you how things looked earlier on that night? That would be very much appreciated. Could you take us back to the moment at which the victim witnessed the kidnapping? Sure, I'll use the photograph he took. Here goes nothing. Excuse me. There's Mr. Alder in the middle, all down in the middle of the planters. And there's the president and his kidnapper out by the road. My father based his investigation on the evidence Aldown provided. That was why he thought the kidnapping and the orphanage was connected somehow. And how he wound up suspecting Fifi Lagarde. She was the one running the orphanage at the time. Exactly. When the case went to trial, Excelsius Winter put a big hole in his theory. He did? Yeah, after all, the president and the kidnapper weren't actually on the grounds of the orphanage, so it was hard to conclusively prove any kind of connection. Huh? So they were never seen inside the gates of the orphanage? Tch, detectives bust a gut to find evidence on the scene, and then prosecutors come along and twist it for their own ends. Winter and Lagarde were working together. It's some kind of deal, I'm sure of it. You're saying that Chairman Winter was working with the kidnapper? Your father was convinced that Lagarde was the culprit, correct? And you say he was gifted and thorough investigator. Then he must have had more to support his theory than just Mr. Aldown's message, surely. Yeah, he must have. I just don't know what it was. It wasn't exactly a case he liked to talk about. Agent Lang's father, Da Long Lang, trusted ally and confidant of President Wang, discovered the truths that were subsequently suppressed by Chairman Winter. Our first priority should be to find out what they were. Yeah! His footprints stopped by the body. I guess that means they belong to Mr. Aldown, right? His feet were pretty big. What was that? Okay, so this is repeated. We've seen this before. They were accomplished in the kidnapping and murder. Dun dun dun. Yep. Dun dun dun. I must scour the scene and do the thing, or whatever. So what's with the snowman, guys? The snowman. Hey, that snowman. It was melted in the simulation of the morning after the murder, huh? And the muffler was all wet. Its little button eye has fallen off. Indeed, it still looks reasonably healthy at this point. Although not entirely, I can see one thing that's missing. Aw, poor guy. I bet some kid took it as a stupid prank. Not a bad piece of thieving, though. Maybe they had potential. You think one of the orphans took it? I'm not so sure. In fact, I think it was grabbed by somebody else entirely. I think I'm gonna save the game. And then I'm going to deduce. It's the button we found. The snowman is missing a certain something, wouldn't you say? Yeah, his right eye. Indeed. Luckily, we've managed to locate it. The button Mr. Aldown was holding. Look at that. It's the same type of button as the other eye and everything. And if we suppose that the button was indeed the snowman's missing eye, that presents something of a contradiction. What does this button contradict? It contradicts something. Where was the button? Aldown's hand. The snowman's location, maybe? I guess not. Yay! Yay on the first thing, not yay at failing to find the thing. Victims? The victim was clutching the button, and the button was covered with his blood, which means he must have grabbed it after being attacked. Let's run a little hypothetical, shall we? What if, after being struck, Mr. Aldown lost his balance, and reached out to grab something to steady himself, the snowman, The snowman wouldn't have supported him, so he would have grasped the button and continued falling. I get it. So, you're saying that he was near the snowman when he was attacked? I am, within arm's reach to be precise. And he's currently nowhere near that close. Right, but his footprints only go as far as the planter. He never came back this way. Woo! Go ulti! I'm trying my best. What if they weren't his footprints? I think we need to look at all the prints again. Alright, I'll take us back to the scene when Mr. Alderman's body was found. Beep. Beep, 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 beep. But the footprints on the left completely match up with Mr. Aldown's shoes, right? So what's the deal? Let's take another look and see if we can figure it out. I think Mr. Aldown's body was moved. How else do we explain the button clutched in his hand? And that would suggest that he was killed somewhere near the snowman. Better take a closer look. I must scour the scene and do the everything. Size 9 footprints going toward the body. Away from it. Case file says they must have belonged to the murderer. They grow fainter as they get closer to the orphanage gates. Just because there's a less snow over there, no? Be that as it may, it certainly doesn't help in matching the prints up with the name on the face. Poor snowman, he's not looking good. It can't be helped. Snow and ice eventually melt. That's just how it is. And so do mysteries. All we have to do is wait. The snowman of this case will melt into clear water of truth. All you have to do is wait, Kay. I've worked to solve these mysteries. I have to work. You have to do nothing. So there are planters outside the orphanage's gates, too. Aw, look, they planted stuff like that flowers in winter under all that snow. Indeed, a little frigid, but tasteful nonetheless, even if this is a simulation. Yes, indeed, it's a bit frosty looking, but tasty nonetheless, for a simulation. Please tell me there's more. There's no more? Scarf, maybe? Oh. Huh? Look, there's a brick missing here. Ah. Thought that was just part of the thing. The rest of the brickwork looks fine. Strange that this one's just missing. Well, guys, I think you know what this means, right? Brick. 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 It seems quite likely that the missing brick was the one used in the murder, wouldn't you say? Oh yeah, now that you mention it, they're the same exact shape and size. What did Winner dig up? Was Winner involved? How do we go back? I forgot. Fudge. Here we go. What is it, Mr. Edgeworth? Go back. Want me to show you the scene as described in Mr. Alden's voicemail or whatever? Okay, sounds good. Logic. Gotta use logics. These planters. According to the case file, the yard stretched around 3 sides of the orphanage. I think I read this already too. Uh-huh. Uh-huh, uh-huh, uh-huh. Uh-huh. Yes. It's bright yellow. Gosh darn it, game. Why is this not, like, fast forwarding? Oh my goodness. Oh, what's the same flower doing here? What is the same flower doing here? Mr. Aldown took his picture of the president's kidnapping from here, and then called Rosie Ringer, at which point his killer must have already been approached from behind. with a brick in their hand ready to strike. Poor guy. Poor bro. So this is how things looked right before the president was presumably led away at gunpoint. He seems super strong, but he still wasn't a match for a gun, huh? Indeed, and Mr. Aldown captured this little scene on camera from over by the planters. But if he did, then how? How could he have grabbed for the button off of the snowman if he was all the way over there? Precisely. I think we need to look at the situation again at a different point in time. It's a snowman with one eye missing, and it comes up to about my shoulder. That's a super heavy contender right there. Those kids weren't messing around. Never mind its weight and size. I think we need some slightly more in-depth analysis here. Has a bucket for a hat, buttons for eyes, and a nice fluffy muffler. The full snowman uniform. And it looks like it can't wait for me to punch and kick it into 1,000 tiny snowman pieces. Perhaps so we could keep things a little less subjective, okay? Subjective. I am not seeing anything else to examine. So let's quickly save the game and let's see if any of our logic, matches up. Brick from a snowman. Accomplices? I guess we'll try boom, boom first. Yay! Woo! If Chairman Winner was involved in President Wang's abduction, then it seems likely that whatever he dug up yesterday had something to do with the kidnapping. Oh, I get it. You do? You bet I do. We're talking treasure, right? Loot. He must have been digging up the ransom money. The ransom money? $100 million, and it is an awful lot of cash. Burying it would have been a good way to keep it hidden until the heat died down. Certainly seems like a possibility. Hee hee, glad you agree. Tee-hee. Okay, that's a problem. To the guide, guys! What am I missing? Talk to Ling. Connect to what did Winner dig up. Monster footprints are updated in the organizer. Scene. Body button. Examine the body again. I have to examine the body twice, guys. That's what I'm missing here. Yes, please. Alright, here we go. Wrong button. Wrong thing. Yes, hello. Hello, Franziska. Hello. Shoes. These shoes, as the case file says, they match the footprints, but huh? These aren't the victim's shoes. I'm sure of it. What do you mean? Look at how the laces are tied. Don't they look a little strange to you? What's more, they don't appear to fit properly. So these prints, they go right up to where the victim was found, and they stop right by his feet? But they didn't actually belong to him. So are these prints by his hand his? The ones that lead away and come back? No, I don't think so. They're too small. So neither set belonged to him? Then how did he get here? That's easy enough. He didn't walk. He was carried by the killer. Ho ho. So then where did the murder take place? Was it really over by the snowman as we suspect? Alright. Now we have another logics. So let's piece them together. Body was moved. Brick by a snowman. I think we have to conclude that the murder actually happened over by the snowman. Right, the button came from there, and the brick too. Indeed. And what's more, if the murderer took the brick from right by the snowman, and then tried to sneak up on the victim all the way over by the planters, Mr. Aldown would have seen them right away. Exactly. I think we need to update the simulation, Kay. Mr. Aldown wasn't standing by the planters, he was next to the snowman. Gotcha. Alright, here goes. Alright. Yeah, no matter how you look at it, this just doesn't work, huh? Indeed, everybody who was present in exactly the same spot. So where did we go wrong? One of the pieces of evidence on which we based our simulation must be the source of the problem. Let's save the game so we know the right answer. Until we find the right answer, I mean. What if one of them was faked somehow? Which one was it? The shoes, maybe? Because the shoes was on the wrong... Nope! Yeah. I have no idea, guys. No idea at this point. Alright, I got it. The kidnapping? Which evidence means the kidnapping, though? I have a guide here, so I'm just gonna check it for a bit. The answer is... this one, this. Can we really be certain that this picture was taken by Mr. Aldown? Huh? What do you mean? We know that whoever killed him moved his body, but why would they have done that? What if they wanted to make it seem like he saw something he didn't? And then they took the photo to help back up the lie? They had the president at gunpoint. They could easily have forced him to pose for the picture. He would have had no choice but to comply. Hey, now that you mention it, they only recovered one picture from Mr. Aldown's camera, right? Indeed. I imagine his killer probably removed the film that was already in there, then replaced it with another, thereby ensuring the only picture found was the one they staged. Yeah, that makes total sense. So this picture was actually taken after Mr. Aldown was killed. No way! And there you have it. The picture doesn't show what Mr. Aldown saw at all. It seems highly likely that it was simply staged to make us believe the case was closed. Wait, so where was the president when Mr. Aldown thought he saw him being kidnapped? Luckily the photograph isn't the only piece of evidence we can use to try and figure that out. Oh yeah, he left that voicemail too. He did. I think we should listen back to it one more time, don't you? This is surely the only place where the president and his kidnapper could have been standing. Don't look at the evidence or anything. Alright, no idea, so back to the guide. Oh. Apparently right here is the answer.
Take that!
Recall this statement from Mr. Aldown's voicemail. Damn it, the light's out. 2 of the lights here in the yard are broken. Yeah, he must have been talking about the one over by the building. Alright, could you update the simulation to reflect everything we've learned? Sure. Sure. And there we have it. The kidnapper was really standing over by the building. Yes, which would certainly have strengthened the theory that they were connected to the orphanage. So they moved the body and staged the photograph to distort the picture painted by the voicemail, which helped them undermine the idea that the orphanage was involved when the case went to trial. Well, that certainly changes what this particular part of the simulation tells us. I imagine it will also affect our understanding of the scene from when the body was found. Only one way to find out. Ready to make the jump? To switch between the 2 recreations, I need to first press X to talk with K. And then select switch recreations. Yeah, I know. So now what? There is so much to investigate here, guys. Wasn't killer between the planners, then what was the blood doing here? Things must have changed considerably in terms of when the simulation showed us. If we want to look more closely at his blood, I think we'll be better off looking at the simulation from the point at which the body was discovered. What are we waiting for? I'm ready when you are. Switch between... I know. X. And there we have it. I must scour the scene and inspect anything that catches my attention. Blood on the snow, a lot of it. It certainly looks as if a murder occurred here, doesn't it? Wait, but we just figured out that Mr. Aldown was killed over by the snowman, right? We did. I think this blood might belong to somebody else. What? But the police report said the blood was Mr. Aldown's. Did I remind you that the case was overseen by Chairman Winner? The man would have no scruples about altering the official record over something that's small. But then why go to all the trouble? Couldn't he have just cleaned up the blood instead? He wasn't able to. Think about it. He knew that this was where the police would find Mr. Aldown's body, and he knew that the police would have certain scientific methods at their disposal to look for clues. Oh, you mean luminol? Yeah, that would have found traces of blood if they used that for sure. Exactly. Wouldn't have been able to clean it up to the point where he was undetectable. Far easier to falsify the results of any such tests when they came back in. Would simply have been a matter of replacing the official results with a doctored copy. Eesh, so we've been looking at the forgery this whole time? That sucks. Wait, but it says that Mr. Aldown's clothes were covered with blood too. It does, and if they were, which seems entirely believable, suggests that whoever's blood this is, it wasn't yet dry when Mr. Aldown's body was placed here. I get it, which means that the other person's blood was spilt not long before Mr. Aldown was killed. I think it does, yes, but if that's the case, doesn't that present something of a contradiction? This game repeats a lot of useless information, but makes you rely on your own memory for the obscure stuff. An interesting choice. Yep. And sadly, that is not good for people with bad bad memories. Sad to say. This related to the evidence somehow. Maybe. I think it's... It is the fire. Yay! There's a clear contradiction here. Woo! Huh? Yes, I looked up on the guide for that one too. Huh? In the bloodstain? The blood is clearly cut off where the snow was melted by the fire, which means that the blood in question was spilt before the fire was started. Huh? But the fire happened before the murder, no? If we choose to believe the case file, yes. But if the fire was actually set after what happened here, the kid who lit it might have seen something. Then why isn't there a witness statement? Because that would have challenged the Chairman Winner's version of events. You need to know more about this fire. You. Yes, Shifu. The fire might have been reported to the police, which means there might be a record of it. Go see if they have anything and bring everything you find back here. Right away. Understood, Shifu. I'll get right on it. One more thing. What is it, Shifu? Contact my family back in Zangfa. Tell them to search my father's office. There should be something there related to the case. There should? What kind of something exactly? I told you I'd seen this scene somewhere before, didn't I? Well, I've remembered where. It was in my father's office. He had a picture of it, or at least of something very much like it. What? It looked like it was drawn by a child. Possibly a child from the orphanage. Possibly even the child who set the fire. It should still be there somewhere. Tell them to send it right away. By airmail or something. The fire. Yes, Shifu. Yay! Thing complete. Let's turn this off, huh? Shifu, I'm back. I brought everything the police had on the fire, and I also brought the picture from your father's office. Oh, and one more thing. About time. What kept you, huh? Well, hand it over. Let's take a look at this mysterious picture, shall we? Lots of things here. I see the Tarsaurus. This is it. I remember the picture. This is the picture I remember. Could this be a depiction of something that happened on the night of the incident? It sure looks like a kid drew it, huh? Yes, and I'm willing to bet it's the work of the child who set the fire. Who was it? Who was the kid who did it? Was it one of you in chat? Shifu, there's... What now? Look, it'll have to wait, okay? Well, Mr. Prosecutor? Why do you think my father kept this? I imagine he acquired it at some point during his investigation, although I have no idea why he would have chosen to keep it to himself. Could we see the case file for the fire, too? Sure, here. If you'd just give me a moment to read through it. It seems the boy who started the fire snuck out of the bed on the evening of the incident. And then disappeared several days later. What? Must have been because he saw something, right? No, a kid? Really? That's horrible. But sadly not unimaginable. Huh? Looks like the kid left something behind that was put into evidence. Huh, what's this? But what's it doing in that case file? What is it, Mr. Prosecutor? Have you seen this somewhere before? Something very much like it, yes. We have a piece of evidence that could well be connected. Which item of evidence relates to the item the boy left behind? It's the mother flippin' bull. This is bullshit. I mean, I don't know what it was doing in the evidence for that case. It's Chairman Winner. It could be. Also, looks like that might be the missing horn from this soft toy. Hey, that was President Wang's. You've seen it before? Of course. He always kept it somewhere close by. Remember it because of the missing piece. I see. It had a special device inside it that plays recorded sound when you twist the horn. Hey, do you think maybe putting the horn back on might unlock more recordings? You never know. The toy itself should still be up on the 51st floor. Hey, you heard the man. Yes, Shifu, I'll go fetch it right away. Here it is, Shifu, the Pterosaurus doll, just like you asked. Good work. Hand it to the prosecutor over there. Well, does the horn found at the orphanage fit the president's plushie? It fits perfectly. And any more recordings on there? Hi, Dijun. Sorry, President Wang. It's me, Amelie. I know it's been a while. I saw on the news that you were visiting the country soon, and I didn't know whether I should get in touch at all, but in the end I decided I had to. To turn it off, right now. What's gotten into Judge Gavel? Are you okay? Just turn it off, please! You see, I had a baby, a beautiful little boy. Yes, your beautiful little boy. I'm sorry, that's pretty much all I wanted to tell you. Oh, except I called him Sean. Sean Fenn. It has a nice ring to it, don't you think? Gavel's the kid? No! Sean Fenn? The kid? And also that I'll be at the orphanage on the evening of the 9th. I'll be waiting in the front yard. I thought you could meet him if you'd like, even if it's only just this once. I know you're a very busy man, but anyway, that's where we'll be. Goodbye! What? He was my dad? I'm so sorry, Sean. Care to explain what the heck is going on, Gavel? Sean isn't my biological son. Ooh, who said that in chat, that he was adopted? 'Cause you were right. I adopted him. And he was aware of this? Yes, of course. His mother, Amelie Fenn, she died 5 years ago. We were cousins, but we were also friends, the best of friends. People often mistook us for sisters, and so, when she died, it seemed only natural that Sean should come and live with me. Of course, we had to keep his father's identity secret, and decided that the best way to do that would be for him to never know of it, to never know in the first place. Wow, Mom. That's something. That's something. It is. That's quite a lot to learn from a recording made on a seemingly innocent toy. I guess Sean's mother must have recorded the message and then sent the plushie to the president. Hey. Yes, Sean? You're sure he was really my dad? Yes, I'm sure. Before you were born, your mother worked for a time as a diplomat in Zhangfa. Makes sense. That line of work might well have brought her into contact with the president. What? You told me she worked at the orphanage. She did, but only after she returned, and after she quit the diplomatic service. She always loved helping others. The orphanage was perfect for her. Sorry, Judge Gavel, but I have to ask. Amelie, the lady who asked the president to come, why didn't she show her up herself? Why isn't she anywhere on the flat? in the files related to the SS5 incident. She never made it to the rendezvous that night. Someone was tailing her. I'll bet that was Chairman Winter's doing, though sadly we can't prove it. And because she couldn't make it, she never saw the president again. Then she died 5 years ago. This can't be easy for Sean. Hey, Sean, are you thirsty? We could go get a soda. A treat, okay? Come on, I think I saw a vending machine over. You think I can't buy myself a soda? This is important, and it's about me. I'm staying. Oh, that didn't work at all. Sean, perhaps now you can guess why I met with the president 2 nights ago. So that's it. That was the big secret. I wanted to tell him face to face that Amelie was gone, but also that you were alive and well, more than well. But I... It makes sense now. No wonder Judge Gavelle was so keen to avoid sharing the details of their meeting. Yeah, she would have had to share the truth about Sean too. That was why I took the lion lilies with me, so there would be no doubt that I knew Amelie and that I knew her well. These flowers bore a special significance for the two of them, you see. President Wang gave Amelie a bouquet of lion lilies in the early days of their romance. But now, he too is dead. If only he had lived, Sean might finally have been able to get to know him. Shifu, I've been waiting for the right time to say this, but... What? What is it? You've been hovering there this whole time. Can it wait? They sent something else from Zhengfa. President Wang's will. What? The president's will, huh? He gave my father medal after medal. They had to come up with new ones just for him. In the end, there was no medals left to give, so he made us the keepers of his last will and testament. Those medals, their duty, they're our greatest pride, our family jewels. What? This is... What is it, Agent Lang? Does it have anything to do with our current case? You could say that. Give me a second. You could say it seems that he was planning on publicly acknowledging Sean as his son. Hold it. Sean's name appears in the president's will. And we're certain that the document is authentic? That President Wang wrote it himself? Sure we are. It's old, but it's real. My family took charge of it back before the SS5 incident happened. They'll want to analyze it back home to be sure, but I'd stake my name on it, being the genuine article. Wang was a renowned world leader, a child nobody knew about, would have been sure to cause quite a stir, and yet he chose to mention the child in his will nonetheless. Well, that's that, I guess. I still can't quite believe it, but the president confirmed it with his own hand. There's no denying it. Sean, you're President Wang's son! Sean! Oh, there he goes. Sean! To be continued. No pressure. I think Sean has a lot of pressure on him right now. Sean, he was my dad? It can't have been easy learning the truth about his father's identity so unexpectedly, and too late to ever get to know him. You know how hard I tried to find him? Sean, I get it. He was the president. He had a lot more to think about than just me. But he was right there in front of me, right there on the set. So why? Why didn't he just say something? Why didn't he tell me who he was? I'm sorry, Sean. I'm so sorry. It's not your fault, Mom. It's mine. If I hadn't broken my promise to you, that fire would have never happened, and he wouldn't have... I've ruined everything. Everything. It's all my fault. I even ruined your flowers. Sean, please, you mustn't blame yourself. Just try to be here with me. Just for a little while. The bond between parent and child are symbolized by the lion lily. I'm no expert, but it's native to Zangfa, so I know that much at least. Sadly, we don't have the luxury of dwelling on such things just now. I know it might seem insensitive, Agent Lang, but sentimentality won't help us here. We need to focus on what we can do about the case before us. You're right. I believe we learned all we need to about what happened back then for now. How did it all line up with your father's theories about the case? I wouldn't know. He took those to the grave with him. Never shared his thoughts with anybody. There's no way of knowing now what he figured out. What about your own thoughts? Are you feeling any more positive in light of what we learned from case reconstruction? Are we any closer to learning what really happened 12 years ago? You know, I think we might be. My father's footsteps are starting to become clear. Now all we need to do is follow them. All the way to the truth. Speaking of pressure, the president went to the orphanage that night. That much we know for sure. The Taurosaurus toy proves it. He must have gone there to meet with Amelie Fen. Except he was kidnapped, and Aldown happened to see it. If Aldown hadn't been there, there wouldn't have been a murder, just a kidnapping. Instead, they had to move his body to the planners and stage that photo to throw everybody off the scent. So that's our current theory, is it? You can do it. Thank you! And if I can't do it, then Mr. Guide can definitely do it. Ha 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 ha. But there's something I still don't understand. There is? This. Why risk staging the picture? They would have had to force the president to play along. What if he hadn't? It's a good question, and we may be closer to discovering the answer than we think. We'll just have to get there one deduction at a time. Yeah, I guess we will. Alright, deduce away. Rebuttal. The president went to the orphanage that night, that much we know for sure.
Hold it!
Nothing should be taken for granted at this stage. We need to treat even the seemingly certain with caution. Can we really be sure that the president went to the orphanage? I get it. You want evidence. This is a nice change of pace from people asking you to show them proof, huh, Mr. Edgeworth? I don't need to actually say it out loud, Kay. The Taurosaurus toy proves it. He must have gone there to meet with Amelie Fen.
Hold it!
The plushie? It had a recording device concealed inside it, correct? It does, and it was used by Sean's mother, Amelie, to record a message asking the president to meet her at the orphanage at midnight. Whoa! You're finished each other's sentences now? What a team. You two will peel away the layers of the truth like an onion, I'm sure of it. You do realize that there's nothing underneath all the layers of an onion, don't you, Kay? Could you try to say something a little less unfortunate sounding? You two will peel away the layers of truth like the skin of a wolf, I'm sure of it. He said less unfortunate sounding. Shall I continue? Except he was kidnapped, and Aldown happened to see it.
Hold it!
Can we go over the details once again? So Mr. Aldown saw the president being kidnapped from right by the orphanage, and he was standing next to the snowman. The murderer crept up behind him, grabbed a pick, and ow! Eek! Calm down, Kay. We're simply verifying our understanding of events. Yeah, well, that little outburst just blew my understanding out of my ears. I know we have to go over all this again, but can we do it less dramatically? Really? Fine, I'm happy to keep answering if you're happy to keep asking. If Aldown hadn't been there, there wouldn't have been a murder, just a kidnapping.
Hold it!
Okay, no wolf murder. Exactly, and no wolf skinning either. That's even worse. If Mr. Aldown hadn't been there, huh? It's an interesting suggestion. Care to explain? There's not a whole lot to explain. He saw the kidnapping, so he was murdered. If he hadn't been there, maybe the kidnapping could have happened without any blood being spilled. But could it? He makes it sound as if it was Mr. Aldown's fault he was murdered. That's not what Agent Lang is saying, Kay. What he means is that Mr. Aldown was the only person who died at the orphanage last night. Well, of course he was. They kidnapped the president and everything. But the ransom was paid and he came home safely, right? She's right, of course, but why does something bother me about that? I think it might be worth taking another look over all the evidence. We're discussing things with your assistant, Mr. Prosecutor, now let's continue, shall we? I guess, I guess it's somewhere here then, maybe. What could it be, guys? I do not know. Bloodstain, maybe? Okay, it is. Lucky! No, I did not look at the guide this time. You're saying there would have been no murder if Mr. Aldown hadn't witnessed the kidnapping? But is that really the case? Why wouldn't it be? Their main aim was to abduct the president, right? So if there hadn't been a witness present, they wouldn't have needed to murder anybody. And yet it remains possible that Mr. Aldown wasn't the only person killed that night. There was a large pool of blood between the planters, but Mr. Aldown was murdered over by the snowman. It kind of belonged to him. What if all the blood by the planters belonged to somebody else? Come on, Mr. Prosecutor. You do realize what you're saying, don't you? What about the kid who disappeared? Good question. I do not know who that kid could be. I do. It's hard to believe, but I'll be the first to admit it, but it's what the evidence suggests. Not just one person was killed here 12 years ago, but two. You're saying they covered up a whole separate murder? But whose? Who else was killed that night? We should save the game just in case, huh? You lost the stream, so you reloaded. Oh no! Find it! It's here somewhere, Hedgewolf. Whoever covered this other homicide did so very skillfully indeed. Even said to have been able to avoid it being mentioned in the files. They didn't quite get rid of everything. They have a piece of evidence from 12 years ago that they never managed to erase. Something else happened that night. The drawing? Actually, this looks familiar, doesn't it, guys? This guy and that figure there. I'm gonna try this. Excelsius Winter tried to shroud the existence of the other murderer in darkness. But there was one piece of evidence that he wasn't able to suppress, thanks to the efforts of your father, Agent Lang. My father? Cast your mind back, if you will. Something else was hidden along with all of the other evidence from the crime scene. The existence of the child who set the fire in front of the orphanage. Why would Chairman Winter wish to erase him from the record? Because he saw something he should not have. That's why. He did? What was it? It's right there in this picture. The picture my father kept? I think we can all agree that the president on the right-hand side, and that the Taurosaurus toy in his hand. But who's that standing across from him? It is this guy. Eastern robes and a black dog? That can only be Bowden Harmacanus. What? The creepy assassin guy? Right. And what would a coyote killer be doing in the presence of a president? I can think of only one thing. That's right. It wasn't a kidnapping that occurred here 12 years ago. It was an assassination. Yeah. And Warden Lagarde and Chairman Winter were... Yes, I think they were complicit. More than complicit, in fact. One provided the venue for the killing, and the other suppressed the testimony of the child who witnessed it. Mr. Aldown was murdered because what he witnessed was actually an assassination, and not the kidnapping he thought it to be at all. Do you think I'm an idiot? How could the president have died 12 years ago? We only found his body this morning. He was alive and well until just recently. Yeah, we even met him. Indeed, so we have a president killed 12 years ago, and the president killed in the last 48 hours. Two presidents, in other words. Right, which is completely impossible. Or is it? I think it's entirely possible for there to be two presidents. In fact, that would explain a lot. Winter was setting his beard on fire. So it was Winter who set the fire? He was the kid? Oh, but regardless of what happened, I still respected him. Zangfa may not be a big country, but he held that place together. President Agent Lang spoke of was a noble and capable leader. No, ugh. The presidential mask has well and truly slipped. Entirely unlike the men we met, it really did seem as if they were two completely different people. But how could one country have two presidents? What could explain a situation like that? This is how it was possible for there to be two presidents. So... and twins? Nope. Guess not. That would have been cool, but guess not. The package from 12 years ago might be a dead body. Maybe. Could be. Could be. Body double? One of the two was a body double. Tell me that doesn't make sense. A body double? President Wang was a man of great power and influence in Zhengfa, a figure on the world stage. There must have been countless attempts on his life over the years, such as the one at Gourd Lake only a few days ago. It's true, there were more than a few assassination attempts, but that doesn't mean I'm about to accept that there was more than one president, not without proof. Do you have enough proof? Any proof that there was more than one president? As far as I know, and as far as my memory goes, no. But one quick check to the guide, and we will know the answer. Body double. Okay. Apparently, it's the case file. Yeah. I don't think he noticed, me getting back into my chat room, that he noticed the contradiction staring him in the face. Didn't know that was an option. It is now. Or is he just unable to accept it? What's the matter, Mr. Prosecutor? You're pretty quiet all of a sudden. In Amelie Fenn's recording, she asked the president to be at the orphanage at midnight. But it shouldn't have been possible for him to be there at the time. Huh? How come? Because he was supposedly still at the embassy with your father, Agent Lang. So he had noticed. The only way he could have been at the two places at once is if there were two of him. Ow! So the real president, that was the one who died 12 years ago. I think it might have been. But why? And who? Who would have hired Canis to murder the president? In order to figure that out, we need to look again at the piece of evidence we recently discovered was a fake. The fake evidence, what was it again? Ultima's back? What do you mean Ultima's back? The stream is okay, right? Alright, we're back to the guide again, because I am stupid. Alright, the photograph apparently. Right here. Blood. Shockingly not the blood. It was the picture. The picture taken with Mr. Aldown's camera was staged sometime after his murder, and Mr. Aldown was murdered because he witnessed the president's assassination. In other words, the photograph, too, must have been taken after the real president's death. So who was the president in the staged photograph? The body double. Nothing else makes sense. I believe the president's double had him killed so that he could take his place permanently. An Excelsis winner and Fifi Lagarde helped him do it. Ooh, dang. Stream is fine. Okay. You said you were getting back into chat. Okay, gotcha. I gotcha. Wait, you don't even have a body to support your theory. You're telling me it magically disappeared? No. In fact, we know exactly where it wound up. The president's body was here the whole time. The answer is this. Apparently. Okay. Back into the chat I go. Chairman Winter dug something up last night, something he couldn't trust anybody else to retrieve. He thought it might have been the ransom money, but it was actually something even more important. You were right. Wait, you mean... That's right, the real president's body. I think it's highly likely anyway. What? The body may have decomposed in the intervening years, but the bones would surely have remained. Mr. Powers informed us that the construction is due to start here sometime soon. Everything had to be wrapped up before then. The shooting of the movie, and the recovery of the president's remains. Yeah, I guess once they started digging the place up, they would have found them pretty quick, huh? Agent Lang, we need to have the so-called monster footprints analyzed again. Yeah, I guess we do. There was a body under one of them. There should be a trace evidence to confirm it. Hey, give me somebody from forensics. You like the music? It's good. Gotta love the Ace Attorney musics. Sir, presenting the findings of our analysis, sir. Traces of human remains were found in the dirt, along with other signs of a body having been buried. Grr, so it really was him. Bones were also recovered from the home of Excelsius Winner. The physique looks to be about right, and dental and medical records are a match. It's him, no doubt about it. So it's suspected the real President Wang was killed 12 years ago, and the SS-5 kidnapping was in fact a homicide. Oh my gosh, guys. Wow, so it really was a murder, huh? This case has taken so many twists and turns, I'm starting to lose track. Yes, perhaps we should summarize our findings just to confirm that we understand everything correctly. Good idea. Let's go over everything from the point where the president arrived at the orphanage. 12 years ago, the real President Wang visited the orphanage, his aim to meet his infant son, Babushan. The footprint we originally assumed to be those of Mr. Aldown seem likely to have actually been made by the president upon his arrival. But instead of being greeted by his child, he was greeted by Kay Faraday? Oh, Canis. He was met by the assassin Bodenharma Canis. That's so sad. He was hoping to see his baby for the first time, only to... Indeed. But at least with Mr. Canis, we can be sure that the job was swiftly and effectively completed. But then, after the assassination, another tragedy occurred. Mr. Aldown's murder. Yes, it seemed he witnessed a key moment in the evening's proceedings. The moment when our culprits, the so-called kidnappers, took the president's body around to the side of the building. That was the site that sealed his fate. We've now established that he was standing by the orphanage gates at the time. Far enough away that he believed what he was seeing was the president's abduction. At which point... Oh, the body double who had come to meet up with his co-conspirators walked right up behind Mr. Aldown, leading to our unfortunate eyewitness being murdered by the man who was plotting to replace the president. So was it the body double who moved Mr. Aldown's body too? Yes, I think it probably was. But none of the footprints could have been his, could they? Actually, I think they could. In fact, we have a piece of evidence that proves how a particular trick was achieved. Oh my gosh, there are so many things that I just don't remember or don't know. How the body double managed to move the body without leaving any footprints. I don't remember. Maybe the shoes? What if the president's double moved Mr. Aldown's body like this? What do you expect? This is the final case? Yep, it is the final case. And it's the hardest one of all. After killing Mr. Aldown, he could have carried him to the other side of the entrance. Given that his job was to look just like the president, he would have been wearing the same shoes, meaning that if he stepped exactly in the footprints left by the real president, of course, he would have been the same size and shape, same whatever. It would have looked like a single set of footprints. So that's how it all went down. I'm so glad we finally figured it out. Wait, but there's one thing I still don't get. There is? What? Why did they need to pretend there was a kidnapping? Mr. Aldown had seen a president at the orphanage, and left a message on his Mr. Ringer's phone describing what he thought he saw. It would have been impossible for the conspirators to erase the message, so they had to make it look as if the events described in the message were true, but staging a kidnapping like the one he thought he saw. Exactly. I think the two people in the photograph are likely to be the body double and Fifi Lagarde. She's the one in the trench coat? How can you be so sure of that? The two of them would have had to walk out beyond the orphanage gates to stage the photo. The body double could have put his feet in the real president's prints as he did before. Oh, so the other set of footprints were hers. The ones we originally thought belonged to the killer. Yes. They were about the size 9, too small for Chairman Winner, in other words. which means the kidnapper must have been played by Warden Lagarde, and that explains how a so-called kidnapping was actually a presidential assassination. It does, which means my father must have... He must have... Notice, there's no way he wouldn't have suspected a murder. Especially not with the kid's picture as proof. But the picture was never officially put into evidence, correct? No, it appears to have kept hold of... He appears to have kept hold of it after taking the witness statement of the child who drew it. Yeah, because he knew President Wang was dead, and he knew what would happen if that news ever got out. Zhang Fa would have been plunged into chaos, no doubt. So he kept it a secret, and that the secret died with him, even though he meant taking the blame for the kidnapping and our family name being ruined. So your father knew the truth about what happened 12 years ago, but he chose to hide it. Well, it's finally coming to light at last. Okay. Is it indeed intriguing? Huh? What? Who's there? Who is it? Oh no. That sound. Is that a bell? Are all final cases in this series complicated, spanning over decades with a bunch of back and forth and to the point of confusion? Yep. Absolutely, Hedgewolf. 100% absolutely. Maybe not the second game, but mostly all of the games, yes. Bodenharma Canis. And the puppy! Aww! What the heck are you doing here? We're the law. You think you can just show up in front of us like it ain't a problem? Forgive me, but I couldn't help overhearing the fascinating conversation you were having. The opportunity to gloat over your past crimes was just too good to miss, I expect. 90%, yep. You killed President Wang. Hehehehe. I did, but it's not something I'm inclined to gloat over. I was more interested in something else you mentioned, or someone else, should I say. Someone you're looking for, I suppose? Exactly. That's why I took a little sojourn from the penitentiary to find a certain young pup. A young pup in a rather eye-catching red raincoat. What? Wait, you know who they are? In a manner of speaking, what did you call them again? A secret mastermind? Thank you for the answer. Welcome! It's your friend in the red raincoat, of course. Red raincoat? The prosecutor looks a little surprised, doesn't he? Helmut? Yes, he does. The young pup I mentioned. He saved my life, you know. 12 long years ago. Uh-oh. As you have surmised, it was I who killed President Wang. But that meant that I too became an inconvenience in need of removal. The imposter president, Winner, Lagarde, all three were keen to guarantee my silence. And if I hadn't met my friend the young pup again, they might have even succeeded. I wonder what he's doing now. So it was the president's body double who hired you? Hehehe. I remember his words almost as if it were yesterday. You know how many times I've nearly been killed? Not once, not twice, a bunch of times. Why do I have to take all the risks? Why am I the one they always put in danger? When I'm out here being... When I'm out there being him, people treat me like I was him. They worship me! So what's the difference? Who's to say I couldn't just be as good as him? There was a difference, of course. Even if he did look and sound exactly like him. Keh. Just because it walks and talks like a president, that doesn't make it a president, does it, boy? No. So he got his wish and became the boss, but couldn't quite fill his predecessor's shoes. Rook's not around. That means I'm number one. I wonder if you have what it takes to step into such capable shoes. You, of course I do. I'm the leader now, me. Heh, seems the king and his knight were much the same. The president's double knew that his employer had a weakness, a young woman named Amelie, but in order to find her he needed to enlist the help of locals. Locals such as Chairman Winner. Once Miss Fenn had been located, they simply needed to find the right time to lay their trap. The meeting she arranged so the president could meet his son That would have been the perfect opportunity. Indeed, and with the head of the orphanage brought into their fold, the little conspiracy was complete. Warden Lagarde. Now, quid pro quo, where might I find the pup? What makes you think the boy who helped you and our mysterious string puller are one and the same? He set a little fire that night, out there in the yard of the orphanage. Oh, yeah, we saw that. It was some kind of a prank, right? A prank? Kehehe. It was nothing of the sort, my dear. No, as I understand it, he had taken refuge in the igloo by the entrance. From there he happened to see Winner and Lagarde carrying away a dead body. He also overheard them hatching a certain sordid little plot. A plot to remove me, the only other person who knew what had really happened, from the picture. Thankfully, he was kind enough to come and inform me. I was waiting inside the building, you see. He also happened to mention later on that he was wearing his favorite red raincoat. In any case, he escorted me from the premises. And by being a very considerate boy, thought to erase both our footprints from the scene of the crime. Seems he had a little kerosene set aside in the igloo for such an occasion. So he spread it liberally about the place and set himself a little fire. No way! So that's what the fire was for? Must have been ever so beautiful. Winner and Lagarde were positively enchanted. And while they were distracted by the show, he took the opportunity to usher me out of a side entrance. Oh, good night, stars. I'll see you tomorrow. Or sometime soon, I hope. Bye! You never answered my question. You really think he's the one behind all this? I do indeed, don't I, Helmut? Yes, yes I do. Oh my goodness. As you have surmised, it was I who killed President Wang.
Hold it!
You were pretty forthcoming with that particular admission. If I'm honest, Mr. Edgeworth, I'm tired of all the killing. Kehehe. But back then I felt that death was my path. I embraced it and strove to learn what it had to teach. I have made my peace with that, and I'm happy to admit it, aren't I, boy? Yes, yes I am. Not sure what he's talking about, but I definitely don't like the sound of it. Basically, he thought nothing of murdering the president. And not only is he an assassin, but he's now a prison escapee. Not someone to be trifled with. Yeah, should he be here, by the way? Shouldn't the police be kind of arresting him now? Going to say poor kid, but the guy was a little criminal in the making. Yeah, I guess so. He became like the big criminal of this game. Though we can't afford to him not to talk, I'll need to tread as carefully as I can. Very well, you killed the president, and you're happy to admit it? Oh, very much so. I wouldn't want you to thinking that I drew my blade and missed. But that meant that I too became an inconvenience in need of removal.
Hold it!
You, a target? But you're an assassin. Sometimes the hunter must become the hunted. Sometimes the living must become the dead. Please, Kay, don't feel the need to add a proverb of your own. Impermanence is inherent to the way of the assassin. Life-takers' lives are taken, so it goes. Wait, does that mean the people you're sent to kill sometimes try to kill you back, or...? It happens, occasionally, but it's not what happened this time. The imposter president, Winner, Lagarde, all three were keen to guarantee my silence.
Hold it!
But Mr. Canis, you're a professional killer, and a famously skilled one at that. Surely escaping even 3 attackers would have been a little more than a minor inconvenience. Kehehe. You overestimate me, Mr. Edgeworth. You seem to forget that without Helmut here, I couldn't even walk down the street. Against 3 assailants, I wouldn't have lasted more than a few moments. I see. So even the most proficient assassins are ill-equipped to face full frontal assault. Where, not hugely fond of such situations, shall we say, I certainly wouldn't have liked my chances. If I hadn't met my friend the young pup again, they might have even succeeded.
Hold
it! Again? So the two of you had met before? Yes, on a cold and lonely Christmas Eve 18 years back. That long ago. But on that occasion, it was I who saved his life. Yeah? It was snowing, more than it had in years. and cold enough than death by freezing was a real possibility. I'd taken Helmet out for a little walk. He noticed something and bounded off through the snow. When I caught up to him, he was sniffing at a car. The doors had frozen shut. It took all the strength I had, but eventually, I managed to open one. Oh, inside I found 2 young boys, shivering and semi-conscious. Those were the 2 in the one picture from the one case. Remember? 2? Yes, and had I found them even an hour later, both the poor wretches would have never have made it. I took them both to a nearby orphanage. Is it me, or is there something significant about what he just told us? What is it about Canis' statement that is especially noteworthy? The number of peoples. You're certain there were 2 children in that car? It was a long time ago, but I remember it as clearly as it were yesterday. There were 2 of them, no doubt about it. Why do you ask, Mr. Prosecutor? Is there some significance in the number? He's right. Perhaps there isn't anything particularly important about that just now. Well, will that be all on the matter? What is it about Canis' statement that is especially noteworthy? The date? This was on Christmas Eve 18 years ago. You're certain of that? I am. Holy smokes! We have something that shows why that date is so significant. Let's save the game again. Which piece of evidence relates to the date on which Mr. Canis found the children? What was it, guys? What is it this?
Take that!
That was the same day on which a certain incident occurred, the murder of a well-known sculptor. No way! An incident in the aftermath of which 2 children went missing. The son of the victim, Artie Frost, and the son of the murderer, Carmelo Gusto. Yet now that you mention it, the little guys did go AWOL, huh? Intriguing. The son of a murderer and the son of his victim. I suppose that would make sense. It would? One of the boys was bound hand and foot, you see. That must have been part of Mr. Frost's plan to stop Mr. Gutso's son from getting to the competition. Indeed, because without his son to taste his creations, Mr. Gusto would have no chance of winning. Kehehe. So that was what was behind it all. Sadly, neither of the boys were able to remember any such details. They weren't? No. When we met each other again on the night of 12 years ago, the young pup explained it to me. It seems that they really were on the brink of death when I found them, and the shock of the experience caused them both to lose their memories. They weren't even able to remember their names. Wow, so they wouldn't have known that they were Mr. Frost and Mr. Gutso's kids. It is the kid from the desert case, I guess? It is the kid from the desert case. It is, I guess, huh? Which means we still don't have enough to tell us who our mastermind might be. Mr. Canis, would you mind telling us what happened next? Keh, by all means. The pup and I remained in contact even after I was sent to prison, but then I stopped hearing from him. I couldn't help but worry. And then people from 12 years ago started cropping up all over the place. It rather piqued my curiosity, so I thought I'd temporarily regain my freedom and look into things. People from 12 years ago? You mean Lagarde, Winner, and the President, I assume? Well, Warden Lagarde was in charge of the prison where he was an inmate the whole time, right? I fear I wasn't as kind to her as I could have been. But then, she did try to have me killed. You already know why, of course. Because you murdered President Wang, but they needed the world to believe he was still alive. If somebody had exposed the President as a fake, it wouldn't have been bad for Lagarde and the Chairman Winner, too. Exactly. And not only that, I happened to overhear something else intriguing that night. I'll be at the orphanage at the evening of the 9th. I'll be waiting in the front yard. I thought you could meet him if you'd like, even if it's only just this once. I know you're a very busy man, but anyway, that's where we'll be. Goodbye. Who are you? Sorry, but I'm waiting for somebody. Kehehe. I know you are. President Wang. I couldn't help overhearing the news. Congratulations. But please don't worry about your son. I only kill those I employ to kill, which in this case means you. No, Wait, this is my first chance to meet him, and it might be my only chance. Please, give me just a few minutes longer. Thought he was going to beg for his life, but no. An interesting character. I told him I was not aware that he had a child. No, he said, and shook his head. Neither was I, but the world will know that I have one now. I mean to make sure of it. Even prepared something in case the worst comes to the worst. And the son in question, it was the young gentleman with the horns here, correct? Horns? You can see them? Kehehe. I don't need to, my dear. I have been listening very carefully, you see, and for longer than you may realize. So the president meant to tell the world about Sean and prepared something in case of the worst. But it's not enough to simply have Canis' word on the matter. Of course. We have something that proves what he's telling us the president says is true. The will. A will everybody knew about, and trusted it to my family to show his belief in us, after all. The name in the recording, the preparations he had made, and his will. Kehehe. With those 3 pieces of information, I was able to convince Warden Lagarde to do anything I asked. With the information at his disposal, he could have exposed the truth about the body double at any time, and Sean's true identity with it. President Wang was more agile than I had anticipated. He blocked my first knife thrust with something soft. By the time the piece I'd broken off hit the snow, my next strike had hit its mark. So it was Canis who tore the horn off of the Taurosaurus doll. I was the only one present to hear his final words. The only one who knew the truth about his son. Well, me and that poor pup. The pup and I remained in contact even after I was sent to prison.
Hold it!
So you were able to continue communicating with him from prison? Kehehe, I was, via a post office box. What's that? It's a means of exchanging mail without revealing one's own address. I never knew where he was, and I wasn't able to slip out and track him down. I was being kept under rather strict supervision, you see. By Warden Lagarde, no doubt. What were the two of you even communicating about? We were playing correspondence chess, of course, and griping about our respective lots in life. Correspondence chess? But didn't you used to play that with... As unlikely as it may seem, Mr. Canis' chess opponent was... Mr. Knight? Yeah, it was Mr. Knight. We found the diagram of the game in his cell, too. Oh my gosh, another evidence? So, does that mean Knight had something to do with all that IS-7 business? Wait, could that be it? Do we have any evidence that might connect Knight to the IS-7 incident? It better be this.
Take that!
Okay, good. This is everything Knight left behind. Could there be a clue in here somewhere? A ring and a chess set. Which one should we look at more closely? Okay. I'm just gonna look up a guide for this part, because, yeah. Give me a second, guys. Give me a second. Present Knights. Apparently the ring is the answer. The ring. What about it, Mr. Edgeworth? Mr. Fender, take a closer look at it if you would. That design, that's Paul Halleck's trademark. Mark. Indeed, it looks like somebody turned the stamp he used to sign his work with into a ring. But why would Knight have been carrying it? And why was it not with the rest of the evidence from the IS-7 incident? They tried to release Frost's personal effects to the next of kin after the case wound down. But if I remember rightly, old Frosty Boy didn't have any family beside from his kid. And the kid was missing, so they never got to hand it back to him. Not till later, anyhow. Heard on the grapevine that they found him at the end and gave him the goods. Including the seal, it would seem, which he turned into a ring and wore until his own death. His ring? Is Knight one of the boys? So we're saying Mr. Knight was Mr. Frost's son? The cops don't mess around with stuff like that. They would have made sure before handing it over. And we're looking for somebody connected to the IS-7 incident who played correspondence chess, right? Wait, so our secret string puller is Bronco Knight? Knight is dead. How could he possibly be involved in our current case? Far out, so our only candidate for Genius Mastermind is a guy who already kicked the bucket? That's impossible. How can a dead guy be behind this? It is a little perplexing, but then, who else could it be? Alright. Okay, I'm gonna save again. I stopped from hearing him, and then I did the worry. He stopped responding? That seems strange. I'm glad you agree. Helmut did too, of course. The big scary mutt really said that? What? Like, woof woof, that's barking mad! Keheheh. He does not need to talk in order for me to hear him, my dear. He doesn't? Okay, well then let me ask you something. That look he's giving me, the super intense kind of scary glare. You're not trying to say he's hungry, is he? Keheheh. He might be. He might be? Mr. Edgeworth, help! He really isn't fond of Canis' pet, it seems. Yes, there's a good boy. Now where was I? Ah, of course, I suddenly stopped hearing from the pup. And the people from 12 years ago started cropping up all over the place.
Hold it!
It does all seem like a little too much of a coincidence, doesn't it? An attempt was made on the life of the man who was pretending to be President Wang all these years. Warden Lagarde murdered Bronco Knight while he was being held at the prison she ran. And Excelsius Winner, chairman of the Committee for Prosecutorial Excellence, murdered Rosie Ringer. And the more I think back, the more it seemed at the time that some mysterious other presence was lurking behind all those incidents. Keheh. Yes, even from behind bars it was rather obvious that something strange was going on. It rather piqued my curiosity, so I thought I'd temporarily regain my freedom and look into things.
Hold it!
You thought you'd temporarily regain your freedom? Could you be any more brazen? Yeah, even a thief would struggle to get away with something like, I thought I'd temporarily, steal it. Keheheh. Fear not. Nobody was injured in the course of my escape. It wasn't necessary after all. I have my ways. Let's leave it at that, shall we? Leave it at, no way, pal. You escaped. I ought to arrest you right now. There'll be no need for that, detective. As soon as my business is concluded, I'll return home to my cell. Are you serious? Prison isn't supposed to be some place you can just stroll in and out when you please. Keheheh. Strange that you should say that. Weren't you the one who strolled in to try and dig into my past only recently? You... Agree, Agent Lang, Detective Gumshoe. You'd be able to question Mr. Canis further. Could you both try to remain calm for now? Sure thing, sir. Kinda knew you were gonna say that. Alright, fine, but I'm not taking my eyes off of Dogman. Even for a second, you hear? I did so used to enjoy tapping out my little letters in Braille.
Hold it!
In Braille? That's how you wrote all of them? That's right. I have the tools to do so in my cell. Huh? So you have to use special tools? Never thought about it before, but I guess that makes sense. What exactly did you write about, if you don't mind my asking? Oh, this and that. General chit-chat. And chess moves, of course. He wrote the chess moves in Braille too? That's interesting. Speaking of chess moves, how does that piece you carved yourself move, the dog? Perhaps we can talk about that later. For now, I'd like to know what happened when the letter stopped. Keheheh. I sat in my cell and tried to imagine where he might have gone. Okay, nope, I still don't get it. What does he mean? Who's this pup he keeps talking about? Who indeed? It seems that not even Mr. Canis knows his true identity. We should focus on what we do know, that there was a connection between the two of them. Particularly interested in how that connection was maintained. Good news? He mentioned Braille? And Braille might be a big clue. Bad news is, I know absolutely nothing about Braille, or even what it even is. So I'm going to look up the guide. Present the correspondence chess diagram. Where is that? Here it is.
Objection!
You said that you wrote all of your letters in Braille, is that correct? I don't mean to be rude, Mr. Prosecutor, but you do know about my condition, don't you? That's odd, because the chess diagram we found in Knight's cell didn't contain any Braille at all.
Really? But surely that's impossible.
How so exactly? Maybe someone typed Mr. Canis's letters out on purpose, meaning there may have been some sort of intermediary between the two of them. So then, Mr. Canis says he wrote his letters in Braille, and yet the letters received by Mr. Canis contain no Braille at all. This suggests that there must have been a third party who typed Mr. Canis's letters out. Guess it could have worked the same way on the flip side too, right? Whoever it was could have taken Knight's letters and turned them back into Braille. They could indeed. I think you and Mr. Knight were both communicating with this person, Mr. Canis. Mr. Canis, the answers you received,
They were written in Braille too, yes.
so some mysterious middle person really was retyping the Bronxter's missives?
And that same person.
Might well be our secret string puller.
Wait, you're trying to say there's another hidden mastermind behind this whole thing? Who's the new one?
Bronco Knight, son of Artie Frost, is already dead. But what if the other child from the incident 18 years ago was actually who we've been looking for?
Carmelo Gusto's son? But who is he, and where is he?
If Knight was Frost's son, Gusto's son would have to be. I've known him since we were kids, when both of us were all alone. He doesn't have any family, you see, just like me.
Him?
But surely not. What's the matter, Mr. Edgeworth? You're white as a sheet.
Of course, it all makes sense. I know exactly who our so-called mastermind is.
What? Who? You have to tell us.
I can hardly believe it, but it's somebody we know rather well. The person we've been looking for is...
Thanks to the stupid guide, I, kind of know. Oh, and Hedgewolf said it. Maybe don't say it out loud, just in case people also want to guess Hedgewolf, by the way. Just, keep guesses like that to yourself if you possibly can. You're shocked. The answer is, in fact, you.
Take that!
It has to be the person behind all this. The person who forced Chairman Winter's hand by sending the letter to Rosie Ringer. The person who kidnapped Sean and bugged Kay and myself. He was very shocked. Well, luckily the guide spoiled it for me. So, we're all good. Kay and myself. The person who did the strangest thing of all. Who drugged Kay and carried her up to the roof of the big building. It was the monster. What? Did you really just say what I thought you did? Yes, the monster. That was the key to unmasking our mastermind. Oh, I almost forgot. We're, doing a new show soon. I'd love it if you could come, Mr. Edgeworth.
It was Max Galactica.
That's who it was. It was Max. I'll be joining Regina on stage for this one. That's right. The Very Big Circus is the biggest, most fabulous event in town. You'll have oodles of fun. The poor Very Big Circus can't catch a break. Miss Lloyd, could I ask a favor? Who? Little old me? What kind of favor? You told us you recorded the sound of Taurosaurus breathing fire. Proof? What kind of proof? Did you capture something on your tape recorder, perhaps? Ooh, you're good, Ruffles. Sharper than a gosh dang tack. I captured the sound of that big old beastie breathing fire is what I captured.
Sure did. Like I said, I didn't precisely see the guy, but boy did I hear him.
Can we listen to the tape? You surely can. Let's see now. That's it. That sound. It must be what I think it is. My theory has to be correct. The truth about the monster, the identity of the person behind all this, it's all falling into place. This heart, you saw a giant eye at the window of the storeroom, did you not? Yep, snapped me a picture of it too, even if you can't rightly see it so well. You can't see it right now, but... Detective Gumshoe?
Yes, sir.
Your image analyzer, can we borrow it again?
Sure, but what do you want to look at, sir? This photograph right here. Gotcha, I'm on it. The clue we're looking for must be here. We just have to find it. Here, obviously. Whoops. There's nothing of interest here. Eureka! There's nothing here. Eureka! Oh, there it is. There's the eye. That's... See? I done told y'all. Taurosaurus had his... Taurosaurus, his old dang self. Heh. Yes, there it is at last. The monster commanded by the architect of this whole scheme. Monster? You're finally ready to admit it, that he's dang well real? The big bad bull himself? No, because that isn't Taurosaurus at all. It's the eye of a different giant beast entirely. Take a look at this if you would. The very big circus flyer. Oh, wait, look! You see it, the enormous lion balloon. Oh, that's the real monster. And the sound Miss Lloyd thought was the creature breathing fire. Aw, come on, you're really gonna bring me crashing down to Earth like that? That's how balloons fly, huh? They burn gas to make hot air? They do, and our culprit was able to use that balloon to carry Kate up to the roof of the big building without ever going near the elevator. So this culprit, they've got something to do with the circus? Circus worker? Friend of the Bronxster? Son of Gusto? Whoa. You're not serious. You forgot to mention trainee animal tamer. It's hard to believe. But he's the one who's been pulling the strings this whole time. That's right, Simeon Saint is the one behind all this. Simeon? But everything? Really? I don't believe you. We trusted him and he trusted us. You can't tell me that was all lies. That would be too horrible. I'm sorry, Kay. Who was that? Hey, where do you think you're going, old man? Kay. Nothing escapes you, does it, young pup? My congratulations, Mr. Edgeworth. But now that I know the truth, my business here is done. What? No, Mr. Canis, wait. Grr, Earth. Damn it, he disappeared. Are you okay, Mr. Edgeworth? Don't worry, I'm fine, but... Slow that footage down, by the way. Tao, how did they come up with stuff that you're not sure? How did they come up with stuff? I'm not sure the word. I don't know. They just do. People that make this game know things. Damn you. Are you alright, Sean? He killed my dad. He did, right? No easy way to say it, but sorry, Sean. It would appear that he did. He won't get away with it. I'll make him pay. Somehow, some way. No, Sean. You mustn't say such things. I'm sorry, Mr. Edgeworth. You'll have to forgive us both. I just put the call out, sir. All the units are on the lookout for Mr. Canis. I don't mean to hurry everybody, but we'd better be on our way, too. Well, Mr. Prosecutor, where do you think we'll find our mastermind? I suppose you're right. We should go after the mastermind right now. He said he had to practice for the show, which I guess means he'll be at the circus. Before we leave, there's something I'd like to ask of you, Agent Lang. There is? What? Once a beast has been sighted, the next step is to plan its capture. When we arrive, there's something we'll need to try and find as a matter of priority. And Detective, I'd like you to look into something that's been bothering me about Sean's kidnapping. Yes, sir. I want to help too, Mr. Edgeworth. Good. There's somebody I'd like you to try and contact. If Saint really is our mastermind, we're going to need this person's help. Between our many encounters, I never suspected a thing, even though he was right there in front of me. Let's save again, just in case. I messed up. There's no other way of putting it, but I'm going to put things right at once and for all.
To be continued. Oh my god. To be continued. Let's save the game now. April 6, 5:30. Very big circus. Big top. Wow. It's been a while since we've been here, guys. Oh, hi, Mr. Edgeworth. Oh, and look at him. He's a clown now. He's a clown. Did you guys come to watch the show? Hello, Miss Berry, Mr. Saint. You're a little early, I'm afraid. We're still practicing, but I'm glad you kept your promise. Yes, I remembered you giving me this. That's so great. You're going to have so much fun. It might be money, guys. It might be the monkey on his back. He might be the real mastermind, because he's literally pulling on Saint's strings right now. I think even you'll be surprised, Mr. Edgeworth. Huh? I think you've surprised me enough for one day already. What are you talking about? Would you mind looking at this photograph, Miss Berry? That's the eye painted on the balloon you used to advertise the circus, correct? Oh, yeah. What is this exactly? I have a strong suspicion that the balloon was used by the criminal we've been looking for. You do? Who's usually in charge of the balloon, if you don't mind me asking? Oh, that would be Simeon. But wait, you don't mean... Mr. Saint, you took the balloon out late the other night, didn't you? Sure, I was practicing. I'm still pretty bad at flying it, so I needed to put in some extra hours. At night, when it would have been even more difficult than usual. You're right, must be the monkey. It has to be. Who was about the guy you missed a lot, but edgy he was about? Let me read that again. Who would suspect that guy I missed a lot, but edgy he was about as innocent seemingly as possible? I don't know what you said there, Edgewolf. My brain is fried, I apologize. A strange time to decide to practice. But why else would I have to take the balloon out? What are you saying? Then you weren't practicing at all. You were taking an unconscious Kay to the top of the big building. In order to frame her for the murder of Rosie Ringer. Security cameras never recorded Kay taking the elevator up to the roof, which means she must have gotten there another way, from the sky. And the only person able to make that happen would have been you. But, Mr. Edgeworth, I don't understand. That's not all you did. You also attacked Sean at the garbage disposal area, drugged him, and carried him away. That's why you were late for the hearing at the courthouse, wasn't it? I'm sorry, but I don't know what you're talking about. Why would I do any of those things? Please, you have to believe me. I never, ever do anything like that. I wish I could believe you, but I can't. Any trust I had in you has been completely destroyed. That's horrible. Why would you say that? You told me back at the jail you said you believed I was innocent. You don't have to worry about that. We're friends. We know what it's like to be in your shoes. We're all part of the same club, right? After all, right, Mr. Edgeworth? Unfortunately so, I'm afraid. Thank you for sharing such personal details with us. By the sound of it, you had little reason to kill Knight. If anything, you're the one most affected by his passing. And what's more, I simply don't believe a person as gentle as you is capable of murder. Rest assured, we believe you, and we will get you out of here. You'll be quiet now, too tired? It's fine, fine, Edgewolf. We're all sleepy here. But this game is, getting to the end, though. This is just awful. Never thought you'd lie to me. We didn't lie. I swear, Simeon, You said you knew what it was like to be me. I trusted you. That hurts, Kay. It hurts so much. Sniffle. I'm sob. Come on, Mr. Edgeworth. This is Simeon we're talking about. He's not a bad person.
I see it now. That's your strategy, isn't it? With everybody. You root out their psychological weaknesses and exploit them. And without even realize it, they wind up doing exactly what you want them to. Exactly the behavior one would expect from the arch-manipulator behind all our recent troubles. I was too blind to see it before, but you won't fool me again. Simeon Saint, you are guilty of crimes too numerous to mention. Oh, so that's how you want to play it, huh? You always did have the courage of your convictions, I guess. Luckily, grinding people's self-belief into dust is kind of a hobby of mine. Oh boy. Peg? Oh dear. Heh, well done, all of you. Well, this is certainly a side of him we haven't seen before. That's unexpected. But also kind of expected, because this is the Phoenix Wright, Ace Attorney series. Everyone will always transform into something scary and hideous. So much for the trainee animal tamer who wouldn't hurt a fly. I guess that was all an act. But I'm glad we're finally getting to meet the real you. So, Simeon, this can't be true, can it? Truth, lies, what does it matter? Huh? All you need to know is that Mr. Edgeworth here has made me very mad indeed. And now he's going to pay. That's even more of a shift than Matt on guard. Even more so. That was pretty crazy. Sure, I went up in the balloon a couple of nights ago, but I was just practicing. I guess somebody took the picture when I flew by the big building. I fly around the area doing promo stuff for the circus all the time. Nothing to see here, Miles. Nothing at all. So you go up in the balloon reasonably often. Yeah, promoting the circus like I said. Is that true, Miss Berry? Well, it's true that it's Simeon's job to go up in the building in the balloon and spread the word. I guess just about everybody in the area would have seen him up there by now. Well, the same balloon who was used in the commission of a crime. Nonsense, I just happened to be in this area where it happened. Somebody took a picture when I was floating past the big building, that's all. I'll be the judge of whether you just happened to be nearby. Thank you very much. Well, sure I went up in the balloon a couple of nights ago, but I was just practicing.
Hold it!
This balloon, do you usually launch it from here at the circus? No, you need a wide open space. There's a park over by Sunshine Coliseum. That's where I usually take off from. I see. And how do you get the balloon to the park to launch it? Not by hand, that's for sure. That thing must weigh a few hundred pounds. It's kind of impressive that it can even get off the ground now that I think about it. I'd prefer it if you didn't change the subject. How did you transport the balloon? Wow, give a guy a break, will you? It's not like I was getting miles off track. Sheesh. We use a truck, okay? You just load it on the back and away you go. A truck, you say? Yeah, last time I took it out would have been 2 days ago. That could be important. Better keep it in mind. Keep in mind. The last time I took a balloon out of the truck would have been then, the day before last.
Hold it!
So just to confirm, the truck hadn't been anywhere else since then. Why would you need to confirm that? I just told you, didn't I? Answer the question. Or are you trying to avoid this one too? Oh, that was a cheap shot even for you. If I say something, you don't need to confirm it, because I just said it. See how that works? But since you insist, the truck's been parked out back since the day before last. And the balloon was still loaded on the back, basket and all. You explain to me why that even matters. Not right now. I think I'll just thank you for giving me a straight answer for once and leave it there. So he means to insist that the truck has been parked here since 2 days ago. Heh, you might have let more slip there than you realize, Mr. Saint. Are you done? Alright, as I was saying. So maybe go back and then present the truck?
Is there a truck option here? Truck.
Objection!
This truck, it wouldn't happen to be blue by any chance. And with the blue message there, I'm gonna pause it here and we're going to pick this up in 2 days, guys. In 2 streams, or in 1 more stream, this game is gonna be over. I'm excited. I'm ready to beat this game. It was fun. But let's beat this thing next time, eh? Thank you all for watching. Hope you have a lovely night. Thanks for sticking around, Hedgewolf and Captain Chips and anyone lurking in chat. Y'all be awesome. Be good. And I'll see you tomorrow for some Splatoon 3. Bye-bye!